are mucus-free. We 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 are mucus-free. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to yet another episode of the Mucus-free Life podcast. I am yours truly, Professor Spira, and it is an honor and a privilege, as always, to broadcast out to those of you who are awake enough, conscious enough to understand that physiological liberation is at hand and that a total transformation of humanity is on the horizon. And for whatever reason on this planet named Earth, amongst us creatures that eat, the word eat is in creature, the word eat is in death, the word eat is in earth. For whatever reason, this eating thing, as Brother Air calls it, has been the bane of our existence. It's the thing that you go back historically, some of the greatest minds and people that you admire from history, they might have had some really good things together, but the one thing that they almost always consistently got wrong was what they should be putting into their body and how important it is for us to get in alignment with Mother Nature, to be in alignment with how we are supposed to eat and how we are supposed to live. And that's what we try to bring to the table, is not just a list of foods that you're supposed to eat, and this is what you're, just eat this, and here's this foods list, and don't eat that stuff. It's like, no, an actual transformative process, a therapeutic way to eat that allows you to transform your physiology from the inside out. Once you truly transform your physiology, it becomes impossible for you to go back and eat the things that you're not supposed to eat. What are the things you're not supposed to eat? Foods that create dis-ease, foods that destroy the body, that are poisonous to the body. What are these foods? These foods are pus and mucus forming foods. So, and of course, most of you all know that. Check out annotated, revised, and edited edition of the Mucus Diet Healing System for more on all of that. So today, I have a very, very special guest on that. I believe this is his third time on the program today. Without any further ado, let's go on ahead and bring him out. This is Vadim Voss, who is a cryptocurrency expert, educator, and founder of Next Level DeFi, graduated from the prestigious New York University Stern School of Business, has over 22 years of experience as an entrepreneur and 9 years as a successful crypto trader, investor, technical writer, and educator. And he's been on this mucus-free path and has changed his life. Has went from a very sick man with a lot of issues and a lot of problems to getting on this path and healing himself and really understanding this healing process bit by bit, and really making it happen. So what is going on, Vadim? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Professor. Thank you. Thank you for having me for the third time here. Hello to all my fellow Mucus Diet Healing System practitioners. Enjoyed being on this podcast. And over the past, I would say 10 years, but especially the last 7 years, my life changed like crazy. I mean, I've been practicing MDHS like seriously for about 7 years. I've been in the research development group, and I mean, Professor and the rest of the team. Shout out to all the R&D peeps, JC, Brady, Reese,
Reese is saying what's up.
everybody
Yeah.
else. What's up, guys?
Monica. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've advanced a lot in my MDHS practice. I mean, that's for sure. And
Yeah. And before we dive into it, I do want to invite everybody to a free training session that Vadim and I are going to be having on Tuesday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And we got it in the chat right now. DeFi Mastery awaits you. Click the link. You do not want to miss this training. Even if you went to one in the past,
Yeah,
is a
it's definitely
whole
gonna
new
happen.
training this time. It's a
Yeah,
whole new, the crypto world is like, it's like 10, each year is like 10 years.
yeah,
And so this is like a whole new kind of situation, but that's why you want to join in and be a part of this, because this is just an unparalleled opportunity right now to jump in. And when you don't want to do it by just going online and trying to Google some things and like, let me see if I can get
yeah,
Bitcoin, or let me get into a fund. And it's like, nah, you really want to have somebody that's in there, that has a track record, that's already been helping hundreds of people do whatever their goals are, because that's the kind of thing that we'll get into in the training. Is it's based on where you're at, what you want to try to accomplish, whatever your threshold is at. If you don't want very little risk, then you can go in that direction. You have a
yeah.
little bit more risk.
Plenty options for that.
Yeah. So, but there's not going to be another time in history like this where we're right on the cusp of some things.
Yeah.
Some things are about to pop off for
I
real.
mean,
And
the
so
mainstream adoption is happening. Like you see
it's
the
already
spot
happening.
Bitcoin
Yeah.
spot ETF approval. That's it.
Yeah.
Now nobody can say crypto is a scam. I mean, we're talking BlackRock, Fidelity, all the big boys are
All
getting
the
into
big, yeah,
the
yeah,
crypto business. Like, come on now. They used
yeah,
to fight
yeah.
us. Now they're joining us. That's pretty
Yeah,
much what's
yeah. Now
happening.
and they tried to play the game where they were like, yeah, it's it's a trap. Like, all right, go get in. Like, while
Yeah. Right.
everybody's out, they jump in right now. There's a reason. And
Yeah.
so yes, we're gonna get into all that stuff
Yep.
on Tuesday, and how you can align yourself properly, do this thing the right way, where you don't make mistakes, so you don't accidentally send the funds over here or do that, or just
Yeah. Don't learn the
you
hard way. I've done that already.
don't learn the hard way. You want to and to have somebody that really show you really how to do this thing properly. And so I got into it, was it 2.5 years ago or so now, 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And so I've been real happy with the whole process. And just I'm a freedom person, so I'm a liberation is for me the name of the game. And so I don't like having all of my assets in some place where I don't control it. In a bank, you don't
Yeah.
you can close down your account. They can hold your funds. They can, ask our brothers and sisters up in Canada how that worked out. If you
Yeah.
wanted to express your free speech, what should be free speech, and then they freeze your bank accounts. It's not,
Yeah.
that's
One
unacceptable. But
one push of a button. That's all it takes for
yeah,
them
one push of a
to
button, and,
destroy
and
your
that's
life,
it.
basically.
Yeah, and so this is a remedy for that. If nothing else, you hedge your bet. You hedge against the uh, the corporate overlords and the government, and you hedge against them, because trust is waning there.
Yeah,
But
and they try to bring in those CBDCs, but that seems like that hit a snag, you know,
yeah,
with all
yeah,
the
yeah,
state
yeah,
laws like forbidding it,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
great.
That
That's what I love to see,
Yeah,
man. I'm
yeah,
like,
that
yes,
was
yes.
yeah, that one they didn't try hard enough with
Yeah,
that. They
yeah.
but
We're not
they'll
China here,
they'll
okay?
try
Sorry.
again. But yeah, it's too far along. But so everybody right now, if you're watching this, go ahead, click the link, sign up, join us on Tuesday, 1:00, totally free training. You will get, if you don't know anything about crypto, you don't know anything about decentralized finance or none of that stuff. You're not really good with technology or computers. It doesn't matter. Sign up, just come. You're going to learn at least about what it is, at least the landscape. You should, even if you're not into it, you should know what it is. so that you're not left totally left behind, because everything is going in that direction. And the decentralized,
That's
that's where it's at, and
that's the
where it's
name of
going
the
to be
game,
at. That's
in the
the
future.
name of the game. So Vadim, man, tell us a little bit about, last time you were here, you talked a little bit about your upbringing, or how you got into the mucus diet. But
Yeah.
tell us again a little bit. Where are you coming from? What was your path that led you to the mucus diet healing system, and the current trajectory that you're on?
Yeah, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about my life, how I came to America. So I was born in Belarus, and I was there for about until the age of 11, and then Chernobyl happened. So like Ukraine basically screwed up, and Chernobyl blew up, and obviously, lucky us, the rain, the clouds were blowing that way, our way, and when we got rain, plenty of radiation on us. So basically, my uncle was already here in New York, in US, and we decided to immigrate because you're starting to have health issues. Radiation is no joke. That's legit. Like both myself and my sister were having issues, so we came here. So about the age of 11, 12, I came here. I knew no English. I studied basically German for 7 years, like in a special diplomat, aka spy school, in in Belarus, right? Then I came here. So, and then my first day that I went to school, I spoke no English, and I was actually wearing like a pink backpack and my pink sneakers, because that's that's what BMW donated to us as the children of Chernobyl, right? And I didn't know that pink means like girlish. I thought it was like a cool color. It's pink, right?
Mm,
Pink sneakers, pink backpack. It's all good. Yeah, that didn't play well at all in that school.
yeah,
Yeah, that was me, okay? Show up in school with that
yeah,
backpack and
yeah.
those
So I mean,
sneakers
this
on.
is like
Yeah,
this
it was
was yeah.
bad, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We, like you said, you were the last, the
yeah.
last of the Lenin.
Yeah,
They,
I was basically like the last generation that grew up in USSR. 3 months after I left Belarus, which was actually USSR back then, like the whole thing fell apart and Belarus became like its own separate country. For those of
mm-hmm.
you that don't know, it's like on the border with Lithuania and very close to Russia. So you can drive to Russia. It's like a 9-hour drive from Belarus to like Moscow. From Minsk to Moscow. Just so you understand where I'm at.
Right,
Right.
right.
So yeah, so I had to learn quick. I mean, I had to learn English really quickly. I started reading lots of English books, and I actually forbid myself to speak Russian to anybody for the first 3 years, except my
Mm,
mother, like at home. So when I was in school, I just pretended like I was German. That's it. That was my trick. And I started talking to only American kids. And all my friends for the first 2, 3 years were Americans. I would just sit there and be quiet because I didn't know what to say. But eventually, I started speaking. So within 2 years, I was doing pretty well. I
mm,
actually scored, I think, like 730 on my English SAT. Which everybody's like, "What the hell? How'd you do that?" I'm like, "Well, I read a lot of books, right?" So anyway, so I finished junior high school here. Then I went to high school, like right next door, Lincoln. You know, um, I've done pretty well in school, and I've since the age of 13, I've earned enough money with like odd jobs to put together like my own computer. And then one of my friends hooked me up with like a job to collect information from different like internet sites. Then about
mm,
the age of 13, I started working for this like internet website collecting information like to put into their site. And then I organized all my friends around to do the same thing. And then I automated it. So basically, we would do like 3 times the work for 1/3 the time. So they're paying us $10 an hour, and I was automating it, so
mm,
we're getting $30 an hour, like a little micro union, so to speak, right? So yeah, that was going pretty well. Yeah, and then I fell for the whole like American dream. You have to go to like the most expensive college possible. So
mm,
and I had good SAT scores. So obviously, I applied to NYU and I got to Stern School of Business and I got in. In hindsight, maybe that wasn't the best decision. Maybe I should have taken the full scholarship to a cheaper university and stayed in the dorms and hang out, and had the proper college experience. But instead, I had to work 3 jobs and commute like almost every day, hour and a half there, an hour and a half back, from Brooklyn to Manhattan, which was not
mm,
great. So my college years were no fun and all work basically. I was just busting ass, right? But I mean, I did get results. I was pretty good in school, and I think 6 months before I graduated, I already had 3 offers from different companies. Like
Mm.
employment offers. I think it was Salomon
And
Brothers.
was this you in high school? So you went
Yeah, yeah,
from that
yeah,
to that.
yeah. That was
Just so
me.
just so yeah, just
Basically.
to put it all into perspective here,
Yeah.
to
Yeah, because I mean,
to
I was a
that.
big like extreme sports junkie. So basically, I was eating like crap, but I was doing so many sports. I mean, I was doing like martial arts, Muay Thai, kickboxing, snowboarding, beach volleyball, doubles, handball, paintball, like anything with the word ball in it. Basically, like I
Mm,
was doing it. Plus working out about 5 days a week, like hardcore, 2 hours a
hmm.
day, weights. Like calisthenics, TRX. Like I was going like ham. you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the sports and the extreme, I guess, lifestyle, we're kind of compensating for that. Like right here, you see that? That's not water in that cup. That's vodka, straight poison.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's some chicken over there. Even my mom was laughing. She's like, "Look at that." Yeah, man. So I mean, I tried to have some fun during college. Yeah, and then basically, as soon as my school career was almost over, 9/11 happened, and the company that I accepted the offer from, PricewaterhouseCoopers, they withdrew it because that's it. They were screwed like everybody else, I guess. And I was kind of
Hmm.
left out high and dry with no job. But it's a good thing I was working all throughout. Like first at that internet job, and then I was doing network consulting. I was doing like tech support at nights for this like data center, and I was selling insurance like as a third gig, so to speak, part time. So yeah. So like I went for an IT job, which is kind of my background, and got hired right away out of like 70, I think, people that applied for that spot.
Mm.
you know so then I entered corporate America. Actually my first and only job, probably my first and last job. Just
Hmm.
like, yeah, I mean, it was super cushy. I was in there, I got all their systems purring, everything was working, and like that took me like a year. That's it. And then once I did that, it was boring as hell. I was dying over there. I was like,
Mm.
Jesus Christ, like I am way too smart to sit behind this desk and like fix these networks, okay? Especially they were fixed already, right? So I started looking around and seeing like what's next, like because obviously this wasn't for me. Like I couldn't
Hmm.
be a 9 to 5, which I'm not knocking. It's not for everybody to be entrepreneur, but I am an entrepreneur. That's my mindset. I like to take risks. I have really high risk tolerance. I go for it. So I saw an opportunity overseas, ironically, back in ex-Soviet Union, because like the tech wasn't there, like vending machines, nice cars, all of that. Everything that we had in America that was taken for granted, that was like 5, 7 years away in like Russia and Belarus and Lithuania and Ukraine. And I
Mm.
spoke perfect Russian, perfect English. Well, in my opinion, but it was good enough. So I was like,
Right.
why don't I just go over there? And I had the business training from NYU, right? And I had a little bit of money saved up from the cushy corporate job. So I was like, why not? I'll take a risk. Worst case scenario, just get another job if things don't work out, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, so I kind of just went overseas and started, putting together business over there. I mean, I've done everything. Like I put in vending machines in stations, universities. I imported cars from US. I've built real estate and construction. I bought and flipped like land from farmland to commercial. Basically, all kinds of boring offline things that I'm not gonna bore you guys with, but you get the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was driving really hard that whole time, like going for those millions, going for that money. That's all I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about health. I was thinking about like, no stress or like family or anything. I was like singularly focused on just getting that money, and when you focus on something for that long, you do succeed. Like I was able to make that money, but while I was chasing the money, I lost my health. I
Mm.
mean, because I was not, living a healthy lifestyle at all. I mean, I would eat like 3 steaks a day sometimes. I would, have an expensive whiskey collection, drinking whiskey, smoking cigars. Like, socially we would like, do drugs on the weekends. I mean, I was never an addict, just to mention that. Like, that's not my thing. It's not in my DNA. But it was always social. But still, all these things add up when you're drinking alcohol and you're eating, crap, basically,
Right.
and you're
And Coke
constantly
with
under
your
stress.
name.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Coke with my name on it. Yeah, when you're, doing all that, eventually something has to give, right? And I was also flying back and forth almost every month from like, overseas back to New York, like back and forth, back and forth.
Mm.
That took a toll too, and I gained weight, like you see right there in that picture, like before.
Mm.
I was, I think, my at top point, I was like 240 pounds or something like that. Yeah, which was
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I was like super heavy. Yeah. Well, not here. That one is actually okay. uh, yeah. So eventually, like my health completely fell apart. I mean, I had to have like two back surgeries, a shoulder surgery. Like my knee started to go, my teeth started like really going. I mean, I had to get like 7 implants. Like as soon as my dentist would fix them, like I would have to get new ones. Like have to get another like crown put in or something else. He was like, "What the hell's going on with you, guy? You were just here like 2 weeks ago. Like you're back again." Jesus Christ. And I didn't know what
Right.
the hell was going on,
Your
right?
your teeth were just falling
Yeah, my
apart.
teeth were just like just exploding in my mouth. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So and then like I started basically I stopped, making like going for the money piece because once you're in pain, that's it. You don't really think about money. You're just like
Right.
thinking, how do I make this stop? Like, yeah, because at some point the pain was so bad, just so you understand, I couldn't walk to the bathroom without blacking out. I had to use a cane
Mm.
to walk. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
I mean, it was bad, like really bad. And
And
yeah, and I
how
was
old
like,
were you then?
oh,
That was like
like yeah, like 30, something like
30s,
that,
30.
31.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super
yeah,
young.
yeah, super
To
young.
be blacking
And I
out
have
just walking
yeah,
walking
and I
across the
have
room.
and I have good genetics. Like I'm pretty resilient guy. Like my whole family is like that. Like especially
Mm,
my grandfather lived to be 96. Like he passed away recently, but
mm,
96 years old. So the Belarusian genes are strong.
mm,
Yeah. 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 So, and then I went, I was like, I have the money, right? So I'm going to use that money to heal myself. I'm going to go to the doctors. Yeah. That turned out to be a big mistake. Like, what
mm.
a waste of time and money. And like, after like 3 surgeries and after years of trying to do it their way, pills and all that crap, I realized that these people don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like, they're useless because they're sick themselves. Like, look
Mhm.
at them. All these doctors, they don't look great. They're not the epitome of health. They're not shining. They're not like, glowing with health. They're all sick. They're all, overweight. They're all having the same issues. They're all eating the same pills. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
nah,
they're all
nah, I'm not
yeah,
going down
smoking
that
the
route.
same
Y-
tobacco and
Basically, yeah. And I
yeah.
was like, no, no, no. Like that's something is wrong here. Yeah. So then I started experimenting with all kinds of radical health solutions. I mean, at that point, I was super stressed out. I had to leave my business to my partners who promptly, scammed me or stole my money. Good thing I squirreled enough away to keep me, set while I'm going through this healing journey, so to speak. At least I had enough brain power to do that. you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So ironically, see, you go for the money. While you go for the money, you lose your health, and then you lose the money too, because you don't have the health. See, that was kind of pointless. But
Right,
it's all
right.
experience. It's all life experience. I'm not sad about it. It led me here. It led me to Mucus Diet Healing System. Led me to this community. So I'm not complaining. We each have our roundabout way of getting there eventually, right?
Right. Well, you could
Yeah.
frame it too, and if you find you find a partner, and then you don't have your health, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like oh, we have this great great relationship, but
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
that
have my
relationship
health.
went away too. As soon as I lost the money and the health, woo, she
What'd you
was
say?
gone in a heartbeat. Like, yeah, you know,
Right.
one moment you're at Ibiza partying it up on your honeymoon, the next moment, yeah, she's gone.
Yeah, yeah, right. So I
and,
mean,
and and in the end, you only have yourself. Like at my lowest point, I had no friends, no team, no like not like now where I
mhm.
have you guys and I have my other friends and I have my health and I have my business and like yeah, I got it now. But back
Right,
then,
right.
like when you're down low, when you're on the bottom, when you're broke and sick and nobody wants to be your friend, nobody cares.
Yeah,
That's
and
that's
it's
just how it is.
yeah. Well, and it's one of them things like where you got to really learn that lesson because Vadim was basically a character in a movie, like one of these movies or one of these TV shows that you would watch, where it'd be like a character with somebody showing up someplace at a dock and be oh yeah yeah go over there and he's like collecting the money and walking in back. I mean he's that guy. So he was living the life that a lot of people aspire to live as far as having the money, having the upward mobility to be able to travel around the world and have access to all the finest drugs and alcohol and women and all this kind of stuff. And yet, what he was able to learn was that without health,
Yeah,
all the
all
money in the
useless,
world
all useless.
is useless. And then you start to see who's really on your team when the money goes away and the health is kind of going
Yeah,
away, and you really get to see like, well, who's really got your back. And so you were able to learn that lesson,
yeah, it was a
that
hard lesson, man.
your
Yeah,
hard lesson.
that's a
and
hard lesson.
but you got it in. And so
Yeah,
that was
I mean, there were some pretty radical times when I was over there overseas, because I didn't know in the beginning, like the good neighborhoods, bad neighborhoods. Like one time I was in Moscow and I was walking back
mm,
home. I parked my car in the parking lot and I didn't know it was a bad neighborhood. And there was like packs of dogs roaming around. So
mm,
it was like 1 o'clock at night. I parked my car. It's like, and I'm walking back to my apartment and all of a sudden, like a pack of 20 dogs just corners me, like on the street. And this is not like little chihuahuas. I'm talking like big dogs, like Rottweiler size.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like, and those dogs were freaking hungry, man. Like,
Mm,
I, I had to jump on top of a car and like kick them, off of me because they were trying to get it, and then by pure luck, like a female dog ran by and that whole pack just started chasing her, you
mm,
know, obviously for obvious reasons.
right.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, thank God. Yeah. After that, I always walk with like this ultrasound like device that you have.
yeah,
Turns out
yeah.
people wear, and you depress this device and it hurts the dog's ears to
Right,
run away.
right, right, right.
Yeah, but I didn't
Yeah,
have that device then. If it wasn't for that female dog, I would have been like probably eaten. I probably wouldn't be
yeah,
sitting talking to you
yeah.
right now. Yeah, like so many wild stories, man. Like in Moscow, and Kiev, in Lithuania, in Vilnius, man. I mean, I'm not gonna get into all of that. I got enough to. That's for the memoir movie,
Yeah,
when,
yeah, yeah. That we need to put that in the
when we
movie.
start
Right.
amusing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of. So then I started trying all kinds of crazy things. Like obviously the first thing I found was fasting. So I did like right off the bat, but no preparation, nothing. I went to Bali and I just did like a 3 week water fast, just straight water, like hardcore. Man, I must have lost like 30 pounds, 35 pounds in those 3 weeks. I mean, yeah, that helped, because obviously, water fasting does work. Disclaimer: don't try to do that. That's I was desperate, I was sick, I was in pain, I was willing to do anything. It was a do or die thing for me. So I had to do it, and it relieved some of it. But yeah, then I did like a 9 day dry fast with some guy in Siberia in this like camp with like
Mm,
20 other people, and there was like 3 women there. They did 14 days dry, like absolute dry, like no water at all, and they
mm,
had brain cancer. Sorry, but it didn't help them. Like
mm,
fasting does not really heal cancer. You need fruits, juicy fruits
mm.
to but let's not get into that. That's not a lesson here. But yeah, unfortunately it didn't help them. Yeah, so I've done some of that. Plus, I've done some psychedelics like ayahuasca and iboga, like to kind of take the stress out, like an express psychotherapy thing. And those things helped as well, everything. But it was all like kind of short-term solutions, right? I mean, it wasn't really like something that I could do and just slowly and gradually bring my health up, all the way, right? So then I stumbled on Mucus diet healing system. You know, actually, yeah. And once I read the book, that's it. It just clicked. I was like, oh my god, this is it. Because I tried all this stuff. I tried paleo, I tried keto, I tried vegetarianism, I tried like the interval whatever fasting, all these things. Like none of them really worked. I mean, all of them worked a little bit, I guess,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a like as a stopgap. But yeah, MDHS. Once I started practicing that like seriously, man, my health just started improving, and like all my issues, like just went away. Like right now, I feel like I'm 44 years old now, and I feel much better now than I felt at like 25. Okay, definitely better than I felt at 30, or like from
Yeah.
30 to like 35, I was completely demolished. Those were like the
Right.
dark years, I call them. I was hobbling with a cane, dealing with my teeth.
Right.
Doctors, surgeons. Ooh, I didn't want to think about that time. Yeah, so once my health started coming back, basically, then I started the whole time I was still dabbling in cryptocurrency because when I lost my health, not only my partners scammed me, but the freaking bank where I had my money scammed me too. They just straight up stole my money from the account. And
Mm,
and at the same day, ironically, Bitcoin pumped for the first time. Like, and I was like, wait a second. So this thing is pumping, and people hold their own keys, hold their own funds, and control themselves without the bankers, lawyers, and all those like, leeches as I call them. And at the same time, I got jacked by this bank, man. Screw them. So then I read the Bitcoin white paper, and I realized this is not just like some stupid coin or whatever. Because I've been in those before. I've seen plenty of scams in my day. Nah, this was something completely different. Like basically a whole new banking system for the people, by the people, not controlled by anybody, completely
Mm,
neutral. That's the value of Bitcoin. That's what people don't understand. It's like you
mm,
control your own funds, and it's inflation and censorship resistant. So nobody can take it from you. Nobody can lock you away from using it. Nobody can inflate it into oblivion like they do with the US dollar. Yeah, what did US dollar lose like 97% of its purchasing power since 1913? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
look it up. You can Google that one. Like that's
Right.
just so you understand. The biggest shitcoin in the world, man. US dollar. Here, I said
Mm.
it.
Yeah,
You know,
right. Yeah.
you can quote me
Quote.
on that too.
Go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When people tell me about shit coins and scam coins, I'm like, well, buddy, I hate to break it to you. Yeah. But anyway,
Right.
yeah. So then, while I was, recovering and looking for the next like new venture that I'm gonna start, there appeared Ethereum appeared on the scene, right? So the first smart contracts, because Bitcoin is only just money. You can only store value, and you can't really get interest on that money in Bitcoin, which is fine. They're working on that actually. That there's stacks and layer twos, so they're solving that problem. But Ethereum solved it first. Yeah. So basically, I started all these ways, new decentralized exchanges appeared on the scene also with Ethereum, and now there was a way to provide liquidity to traders, right? Because I was doing trading on the side, but it was super unpredictable, super risky, super stressful. It's just, like I didn't like it. Like now I still do it, but for like fun. See, if you do it for fun, that's great. It's a great pastime. Yeah, and so basically I put some money into this farms, and I started getting passive income. And I was like, all right. And at the same time, I was, talking to professor, talking to one of my business mentors, Caleb Jones. I was trying to come up with the next business idea. What value can I bring to people, right? And then I told them about this, that I'm making passive income in DeFi in like 10 minutes of work a week. And they're like, why don't you just teach that? Why
Mm,
don't you bring that to people? That's how my journey started, 7 years ago, where I was started, coming out like learning everything about, making courses, making free training, like workshops, conducting free training for people, teaching them how to do it. Because I was already kind of teaching professor and everybody in the research development group, in a manual way. I was just like sending messages and videos and coaching them, for
right.
free, just whatever. We're all friends. Yeah, but and then an idea started to form my mind. How do I crack the holy grail of crypto mass adoption, which is basically creating a comfortable learning kind of on ramp for total newbies, people who don't know what crypto is, they don't know what Bitcoin is, and they don't want to know. They don't care. All they want to do is make money with crypto, like dollars. That's it, passively. Like to use the power of crypto without knowing anything about it. Kind of like when you drive a car, but you're not a mechanic. Like you don't know what the radiator does, or the clutch, or the things. Like I don't know those things myself. I'm not a car guy. Sorry. Like I like to drive cars. I don't like to repair cars, or
Right.
want to for that matter. You
Right.
know. Yeah. So and I was like, I think I can do that. So the past 7 years, basically, I've been creating this project, Next Level DeFi, which is like a free training and a course and like a VIP support, customer support from me, because I got tired of all this crappy support everywhere. Right? It's an epidemic now. Like nobody provides good support nowadays, man. They always
Hmm.
outsource it to like some chatbots, or you call in, it's some like some call center in Bangladesh, and they can barely
Hmm.
speak any English, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like
Right.
yeah, like like that's not environment conducive to learning. You know, yeah, and yeah, so I started doing that, and I've had over 110 students already go through the process, and they're loving it. They're all making money. Yeah, and I've been kind of during this whole bear market just polishing this product, polishing the support, getting all the kinks out, and I think it's pretty good at this point. Yeah. So I'm about to take it into the world, and obviously money is not the main driver for me. Like my mission is to get enough resources to build mucusless space, our own island, our own dream, so to speak. Preston knows about that. Yeah. So that's kind of the trajectory of today. Yeah, and I'm doing pretty good in MDHS. My practice is solid. I do everything already on full automatic, so now I can focus. My health is improving on autopilot, just like my passive
Hmm.
income. So now I can
Right.
focus on projects. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
mentioning.
Here's the what you when we talk about the island, what you think we're talking about, because I know this is what people think
Yeah.
anytime we talk
No,
about
that's
Aaron
not what we're talking
Island.
about.
It's like, no, what we're actually talking about is a serious situation here. This
Yeah.
is
Like a whole new society,
yeah, a whole new
not just
society,
like a little island where we all
not
just
just
live
a
together.
handful of people growing fruit and eating this stuff. It's like, yeah, because people say, well, they have that already. It's like, well, not what we're talking about. They
No,
don't have yet. No,
no, they,
that doesn't exist yet. What we're
nah,
this does, but not this. And so yeah,
yeah,
that's and to do that and to be able to protect ourselves, protect our loved ones, protect our way of life. People always talk about their way of life, and this is like, well,
yeah,
you got to have the resources and the means and a plan to be able to execute and protect and continue to execute your way of life.
yep,
It ain't just good enough like, oh, this is what I want, and and have this. It's like, man, you got to have a plan, and you got to be willing to spend years and years and decades working toward that plan. This
yeah,
idea, when I wrote this, imagine a sacred place where people live, detoxify, fast, heal, and make music on a campus nestled in the woods, surrounded by fruit trees and gardens, self-sufficient, off the grid, with great earthly shelters. I wrote that in 2005. There's people probably watching this that were born in 2005.
yeah,
So how long we've been working on this, and the kind of patience and planning
yeah.
that it takes to execute something on this scale. But this is and for a long time we didn't talk about it publicly because it wasn't even ready to talk
No,
publicly yet. Like we wanted to make sure we had some things in place by the time we even have this discussion. It's on the way. We got the plans
yeah,
in place, and
it's
and,
definitely
and it's
happening.
it's
I'll
gonna
tell you
happen.
that.
So now it's just that the opportunity. This is that time for people to get involved and find a way to bring something to the table to help. Like let's like join the team, and
Yeah.
because this is it's happening. It is
I mean,
definitely
that's
happening.
that's part of the reason I'm bringing Next Level DeFi to this community is because I want all of you guys to be rich, so that way our community has the maximum resources that we can have to bring this vision to life, right? I mean, I can't do it by myself. I mean, I'll definitely try my best, but obviously you need a team to get it going. You
Right.
need a community to make this a reality, right? I mean, if we want to create this kind of mucusless space where there is like no money, it's resource based economy, internally, and Bitcoin based economy externally. So we're not like affected by the crazy inflation and the crazy pus and mucus economics, right? That's going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lunacy right now. You see what's going on, right? And this is a great solution. A blueprint that the world can see and follow into the future. Because right
Right.
now it's the same everywhere. Like look at it. Look at Australia. Look at China. Look at Europe. Like, look at even US. It's just
Mm-hmm.
craziness and lunacy everywhere, And we need like an island where pus and mucus-free people can congregate without the freaking problems and stresses of money and debts and all this like health issues and all this like crazy everyday catastrophic events happening. That's what we need. We need this space to be like the beacon of light for the rest of the world to show them what's possible. You know because like there's crazy abundance on this planet, and the only
Mm-hmm.
freaking artificial constraint on that abundance is cash, money, fiat. Because why they made it that way? To control you. Because then you have to work, you have to exchange your time for money. And imagine if we had 10,000 mucusless people on that island and all of them didn't have to worry about how are they going to pay for food, how are they going to pay for rent, how are they going to pay their bills, how are they going to feed their children. No, imagine all that was just free. The robots do all the work, our dumb AI. No, no super AI, please. Like I'm not trying to destroy the world. Let's make AI dumb, right? They do all the work, and we just lounge around, eat a bunch of durians, and come up with crazy tech that will save this whole world, right? That will take us into space. They can, open up all these like vistas for us.
Well, yeah.
Nobody's
I
thinking
mean,
about that.
and it gives you when you're not worrying about just basic survival, then a whole new vista opens up to you in terms of physiological aspiration. What what you can do when you don't have to worry about, because just if you just think about most people, they got to go to their job, or and they've been conditioned. We've all been conditioned to have a certain kind of just mentality about, okay, well, I got to get to the job. You lose a family member, you have a baby, whatever, and it's like, you can't take too much time away. You get back to work, get back to work, get back to work. We've been bred to think like that, but you don't have to think like that. There's no law or rule
Yeah.
that's how you. What if you put all that hard work that you were doing to work for somebody else? What if you were doing that work in the bathroom cleaning out your colon?
Yeah.
What if you were doing that work focused on eating the foods that will perpetually clean your body, so that you pause and slow down the aging process as much as humanly possible for your physiology? It's so now we get into the paradigm shift of, you don't have to live the way they taught you to live. You don't have to, as Brother Eric says, not where they teach you. You go to school and they teach you that 9 to 5, that 10-hour day, that 10 hours of your day is for somebody else. That it's
That's the
just
whole point of those
boring and
schools. It's just
it
training
gets you
for a
ready.
job. That's
Right,
all it is. They don't teach you anything useful. Like, I haven't learned almost anything useful in those schools. I had to learn everything myself from
right.
books and practice and just, life experience. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why nobody's done this yet, but I think I do know, because the bankers are not interested in financing projects like these, right? Because how are they going to
No,
make money on healthy, independent, freedom loving people, right? There's no way to make money off of us. I mean, I know plenty of ways to make money, for all of us on that island. Professor knows, I already got
right.
plans on plans on plans to generate like tons and tons of Bitcoin, because once those Mucus minds start creating content, apps,
Well,
different
but
projects,
we will
boom,
be
you can sell that.
creating, people in the entrepreneur space talk about creating value, this
Yeah.
idea of, those who create value are those that get the resources or get the money. And then that's that sounds good in theory. In practice, in the way with the government's work and the corporatocracy and all that, it's a pipe dream. The pus and the mucus is what runs the show,
Yeah.
but the value equation is still happening. So look at all the billions of dollars that are wasted in trying to find a cure for different diseases, for donuts for cancer,
Yeah.
and cookies for cancer,
Cookies for
and
cancer.
all of this absolute nonsense. All of it, but people are giving their money to that because they think that the aspiration of maybe finding some cure for these afflictions is a good thing.
Yeah.
But
Meanwhile, when, yeah.
when you have an entire nation that's bringing the value of the cure for human illness, that human illness is not normal, it's not natural, and there is a way to avoid it if you are willing to do the work and you want to not go through that type of pain and suffering, not to be deluded and think that you just have to. It's our lifespan. This is what it is. We live and we die. We all have to die. That's like literally, and that annoys me so much, because that's what people that are so comfortable with death that's just like literally their programming kicks in, and
Yeah.
like, well, you got to die sometime. What does that
Yeah.
mean? So you
No,
got to die from eating pig intestines and
and you
chemical?
notice how they're lowering the age all the time. It used to be 120 years you can live up to. Then it
Yeah,
was like 100. Then
yeah.
now
Then
then it was
80.
90, 80,
Yeah,
and now it's like, oh, he died at 60. He lived a full life. I mean,
yeah. Right.
that's
Oh, he's
you notice that
62. He lived a
everywhere.
good life.
Good life.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
dying at 60. What are you talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
I don't know about
it,
all that. I'm planning to test the limits of all their theories. I don't trust any of the theories. I plan to be 300 years old, surfing on the wave in Hawaii, whatever. And if it doesn't happen that way, all right. At least I tried, right? I mean, whatever. Then I'll admit I was wrong. We just
yeah.
don't know. whatever a completely mucusless body can really do, right? And I'm not even talking about the other modalities like the extreme fasting, the superior fasting, like all this thing. We didn't even test those yet. So I can't even speak about that because I'm not even at that level. It'll take me probably another 10 or 20 years to get there. And then I'll tell you all about it once
Yeah.
I try it out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just the game changer, the absolute game changer,
Yeah.
and that's like I said, that's we've done the best we can bringing this information via
Yeah.
these
For
very
sure.
compromised mediums as YouTubes, and I've been striked and censored,
Yeah.
and
They
as
deleted my
like
channel
they
like
deleted
altogether.
him
Like my
for
whole personal channel just got
for
deleted.
sharing one of my links.
Yeah.
they
One
just they
link.
just
That's all I did.
one
Boom. They
link,
just
and they
deleted
just
everything.
literally deleted his whole channel. And
Yeah.
so
Bastards.
so it's under them kind of circumstances that the modern day kind of underground railroad. This is the physiological version of trying to get this information to people who are indeed slaves and are indeed slaves to their addictions and their eating habits and the mindset, thinking that there is nothing that they can do about it, thinking that all they can do is go to the doctor, get the surgery, get the pills, get the so on and so forth, while then going to the subway that's in the hospital, going
Yep.
to the McDonald's that's across the street from the doctor's office, and
Gotcha.
totally not understanding, not getting it.
Yeah, food that has nothing to do with disease. What are you talking about? It's the germs, it's the viruses, it's the external. It's other people that are infecting you, right? You can't be all that garbage you're shoveling in your mouth every day. Nah, 3 times a day. That can't be that, right?
Right.
It's the external. It's the invisible microbes in the air, which is hilarious. But I'm not gonna get into that. I don't want to get your channel banned,
Get
Professor.
it right
Yeah,
further.
yeah,
So the transition is on. So we had
yeah,
generated this, or
yeah. That's what we're
I
going for.
painted this myself.
That's right.
and
Look at Professor.
and this
Master
is
painter.
yeah, master. I learned how to do this in a short
Learned it in
period of
10
time
minutes
in
from
my
a
free
crash.
time. And but all this is can be a reality, but people have to want it enough. I just actually just went to Tony Robbins is doing like a little his little sessions, and I just went to that, but he was just saying that like you gotta want it so much, where you're drawn to it.
Yeah, you gotta
You can either be
visualize it.
pushed
Gotta
to it
see
or
it.
you're drawn to it. And we're drawn to this. The reason
Yeah,
nobody else would be talking about this or aspiring to this is because they like they like the hood. They like that environment. They like, or the people that's in the
they like
suburbs.
the
They like the
Matrix.
suburbs. They like the people in these cities. They like the cities. They like the decrepitude
Yeah,
of the environment. They like going to having that McDonald's over there. They like having IHOP over here. They like it.
yeah,
They as much as they can complain about all of like, oh, the government and this and that, they like it. They like all of it.
yeah.
They
They just know they
love the
can't tell the
drama.
difference
They don't
though.
want this.
They
They
never
don't want this
experienced it.
kind of peace and tranquility. No, no, no. They want some drama. They
No,
want they
they're way too stimulated for that.
yeah. They're way too. They wish they could be chased by some dogs and to get some excitement,
Yeah, it's
jumping
fun.
on top of a jump on top of a
Yeah,
car and
no, thank
try
you.
to fighting for your life and and so it's those of us that have eyes to see and ears to hear that can get to this, that and we can manifest this. This is what we're going to manifest. Everybody likes to talk about manifestation and the secret and the law of
It's happening.
attraction and
It is
all that
happening.
stuff, and what we're living in somebody else's, what somebody else attracted, and we're
Yeah,
saying no to it. We don't want that. We don't want the skyscrapers of New York and
yeah,
the garbage of a lot of these places, and that was somebody else's dream. That was somebody else's plan. So it's time
more
for a
like a
new
nightmare.
plan. It's time to put that into the dustbin of history. Let that, if we just let it. I used to say this about Cincinnati. Everybody should just really just leave. If everybody just left within, I don't know how many years it would take, but the nature was just take that land back, all the buildings, all that stuff, and just go get covered up and go down into the ground, and within however many thousands of years it'll all be gone, and we can start over again, because some places are irredeemable. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, but it takes vision, but it takes a level of cleanliness to see any of this, to care about it, to want to, people, a lot of people would rather play the game of, well, I'm gonna go vote. I gotta go vote. This Tuesday is coming up. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
somebody, or I'm gonna go and do this and that. And I used to be an avid protester for things that I was into, and show up and, all right, let's shut the city down, and we'll do that. And it's like, you know,
Nah,
it ain't
that
gonna
doesn't
work.
that
None of it's
doesn't
gonna
work.
work without
It doesn't work.
physiological liberation, without that physiological component. Now it's different when it's a whole group of us and we're all in the middle of a long fast, and we show up at the state house, and you, at that point, you basically lay claim, like, well, this is our here. This is just, and this is the program. This is what we're doing. It's a different relationship. When you're doing pus versus pus, whoever has the bigger gun is going to win in the
Yeah.
pus pissing game. That should be a quote. I'm gonna put that into Dali. And the pus pissing game, just some pus, just taking a poop, who can piss further in this world of
Yeah.
just.
I mean, if you think about how much money is being spent on ridiculous things in this country, like all these dumb wars and all this like politicians promoting themselves, if you would take 1/10 of that money and put it towards a project like that island, like
Mm-hmm.
we would have like hundreds of these islands already, where you could go and you could practice, Mucus-free healing system, and you could, be with other practitioners and just, not worry about everyday expenses, just have it fully autonomous, that's it, like no money. Why can't we have that? And they can get it going easily, but they don't want to, because they don't want you to be free. That's the bottom line. They want you working for that money that they just press a button and they can print as much of it as they want. Like, think about it, right? They just create that money out of thin air. It's backed by nothing. Unlike Bitcoin, which is backed by energy, and you can't just, print a zillion of it. Never mind what like Jamie Dimon says on TV. Oh, Satoshi's gonna appear and he's gonna like print another zillion Bitcoin. Like, that guy.
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
while in the background, he's basically like opening up orders for his clients to buy more Bitcoin.
right.
That's what I always say. Don't listen to what these bankers say. Look at what they're
Look at what
doing.
they're doing.
Look
Yeah.
at what they're doing. You know, like they're talking crap about crypto and Bitcoin and everything being a scam on TV on CNBC, and in the meanwhile, they're telling their traders to buy as much of Bitcoin as they can, because they're basically using FUD, fear, ignorance, whatever, destruction, on main TV to drive the price down so they can get in cheaper and basically buy your Bitcoin. Don't sell them your Bitcoin. Keep it on your wallet. That's my message, my public message, PSA for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what we were taught. Not to get too deep
Yeah.
into these woods, but for people that know anything about this stuff, if you're in
Yeah. This is
finance
big.
at all,
This is huge.
it's a big deal, and it's like we're saying, it's confirming everything we've been talking about. Is every
Yeah.
time, whenever you talk about crypto, people start talking. They come with the program that they've been given by, what's that idiot's name, Kramer, that whatever the
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah. Jim Cramer,
Yeah, like
the inverse Kramer. Like, do whatever like take whatever
yeah,
he
yeah,
says and do the
whatever he
opposite.
says and do the opposite,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing, where they've been programmed to, just talking to people, and they're like, oh, well, that crypto's a scam. Well, how do you
Yeah.
know? Like, would you like? No, it's the scam. It's like they literally just androids that, like, when you say certain words, they've been so hypnotized to just
Yeah.
have this, like, no, 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 no,
Yeah, you're
and it's
just trying to
like,
scam me. It's all a pyramid scheme. Oh, that's what it is. Like, yeah, pyramid scheme that now there's an ETF with BlackRock and Vanguard and Fidelity and like nine biggest, basically fund managers in the world now offer, Bitcoin for sale to all their clients. Yeah, that doesn't sound like scam to me, buddy.
Right.
Sorry to burst your bubble there, but nobody
Yeah.
nobody says that anymore. Now that the
Well, yeah. Oh,
Bitcoin's got
now it's
ETFs
like,
approved,
oh,
that's it.
yeah,
It's mainstream
yeah,
now. Everybody's like, "Oh, Bitcoin, that's like digital gold." Yeah. A fun
yeah. They
fact:
say it, saying it
after the
now.
next halving in April, Bitcoin is actually going to be more scarce than gold. Yeah, for the first
Hmm.
time in Bitcoin history, the Bitcoin production is going to fall below that of gold. So it's going to become more scarce than gold. And yeah, obviously, it's much better than gold because it's easier to move, easier to store, easier to spend. I mean, try spending a golden brick, right? Like, try storing a golden brick. You need a
Right.
special, vault, and you have to like move it with special vehicles. Bitcoin, you can just click, bam, and send it across the world, to somebody else in like 3 seconds with like 30 cents.
Right.
Yeah, that's like, oh, what's the value in Bitcoin? Well, that's the value, guy. You can control your own money. Yeah, that's kind of like why myself and Professor Spira work so well together, because we have this great synergy, right? He's bringing the physiological liberation piece with the Mucus diet healing system, and I'm bringing the financial liberation piece with Next Level DeFi with decentralized finance, right? Once you combine both of those, you got the best of both worlds. You got your ultimate health, and you got your like super decentralized, secure passive income coming in from DeFi, and you can have like 40 sources, in decentralized finance bringing you income every day. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I teach in my free workshop. And it's not
Right.
it's not a switch and bait thing. When you come to my training, I'm gonna give you the legit training. Like you will learn how to make money in decentralized finance in those 40 minutes. Like, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Professor's
Yeah.
seen my training, he can back it up. He knows my stuff is the real deal. I don't do that. Oh, come and then you come and bam, and like you learn nothing, and I'm just trying to sell you something. No, no, no. You're gonna get the training. Like,
Yeah.
you'll be
Yeah.
able to use it. Yeah, that's the mission. That's like
Yeah.
the junior mission, bringing the decentralized finance education to everybody. So basically, they can screw the banks, because I do have a little bit of bone to pick with the banking system. Well,
Hmm.
maybe not in this country, but outside this country, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real reason why they're scared for people to get educated about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, because Bitcoin replaces them. We don't need them. We can store our value all in Bitcoin, and we can trade using Bitcoin amongst ourselves. Like, my idea for the island is that we're not going to use banking rails at all. We're just going to have all Bitcoin on our own Bitcoin Lightning Network, which is basically you can do 30 million transactions per second for fractions of a penny on Bitcoin
Mm.
Lightning. Yeah, the freaking banking rails can't do that. I think Visa and MasterCard tap out at like 7, 8 million TPS.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's triple that, okay? And that's what these dinosaurs are scared of. When we realize that we are the bank, we could be the bank. Once the
Yeah. Be
interface
your
gets
own bank.
better,
Hmm.
that's kind of my mission with Next Level DeFi. Is I'm trying to make this stuff so easy, so like beginner friendly, that anybody, like even your grandma, can come to Next Level DeFi, and I'll teach you how to put her money to work, getting 200-300% a year. Censorship free, resistant, source, redundant source that nobody can take from her. And when that happens, why do you need the banks? Just store the money in DeFi, and they can't take it.
Right.
you know, like, yeah, they can't KYC, they can't keep you from using it. Yeah, that's the real thing. Yeah, that's kind of where we're
And this
going
is
for.
we had
Yeah,
mentioned this, so we
read that book.
recommend this book. Check this out. The best that money can't buy beyond politics, poverty, and war by Jacques
Yeah,
Fresco.
that's that
And
red pill right there.
yeah, yeah, that gets into this concept of resource-based economy. There's not
Yeah,
a whole lot of great thing, if you just Google it, it's lame.
no,
Most of what comes
lame.
up, the Wikipedia thing is super lame. It's and
Wikipedia.
so
Don't
what
get
we're
me
talking
started.
about is cutting edge. Because anytime you find a topic like that where you try to search it out and it's like, wait a minute, there's not a whole lot on this, but this is an incredibly robust concept. So you would think that
Yeah,
there would be more people talking about it, but they're not. That lets you know that you're on to something, because it's like, oh, at least
yeah,
us. See, we're used to being on the cutting edge of things, and when you're practicing the mucus diet healing system, you just become accustomed to knowing you're way ahead of like whatever is going on and the way people think. And that's why we predict what's going to happen oftentimes to to picture perfect kind
yeah,
of down to the date of like, oh, this is going to happen on that date, and be like, well, how just watch, and then it happens.
Yeah.
It's just because we're used to being there. So with this is like, it hits all these things at a different angle than what you've heard about, where it's not like where people like, because the standard programming is for people to talk, well, why, like, socialism, and then,
No, 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 no.
capitalism, well, no, libertarianism. It's like people have been put into those little boxes to where you don't even say, well, wait, what if there was the construction of an entirely different form of economics that's not based on
Yeah.
any of these concepts that have come before?
Not an ism, but like something completely different.
Yeah, not
Based on
exactly, not a
resources.
yeah, and so we're bringing this to, because these are the kind of conversations we have in the research and development team and in the private membership association and that kind of stuff, where because we're the type of people, we like to do stuff and not just talk about it. So it's not just theory, because we could sit here, I could do all kinds of theories in the theoretical framework of resource-based economy and break the stuff down and really pick up where Fresco left off, because he didn't have the physiological piece.
Yeah,
So
he died.
his thing would never have worked in its current incarnation. But what we're going to bring to it, the physiological piece, and then with the proper resources and the proper planning, that can happen. You can have a resource-based economy that interfaces, like I said, you figure out, how do you interface with the world? How do you deal with things
economy
domestically? Yeah. And
Well,
so because
that's what Bitcoin comes in. That's a good like
that's what I'm
right?
saying. Yeah, the Bitcoin, you have your way, but then back at home, it's people are living these peaceful lives focused on physiological liberation. We're not out here like running to whatever fast food and doing this. It's like, no, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and people need to have the freedom instead of worrying about. And I learned a lot just watching Brother Air kind of function over the years, and just how he will, if he needs some money, he goes and gets it. But then if he needs to lay down for a week or 2 weeks or a month to go through an elimination and fast and do what he needs to do, he does that. And so it's a different type of it's and people don't like that aspect sometimes of the Mucus's diet, that where you don't always have the stimulation for that get up and go to want to, I'm going to war, I'm going to work, I'm all right, I'm off to the bank. It's like, no, it's a whole different rhythm. When you're putting yourself together, healing happens through being calm, through not having the weight of the world on your shoulders, not worrying about where your next check is coming from, or if you have an emergency, you're one check away from bankruptcy. That kind of environment that drives people to then give excuses to go to go eat and go drink and eat and go go do whatever they need to do to get their mind off of their reality. That type of pressure does not lend itself to healing yourself on the Mucus's diet healing system.
No.
It's just, and that's one thing when I'm working with people that have chronic illnesses, and they get so worried about these other things. And it's like, look, if you don't get yourself together physiologically, losing your job is going to be the least of your worries. Not being able to get to work is going to be the least of your worries, because you're not going to be here.
And the number one cause of bankruptcy in US is medical expenses.
Medically related, medical expenses.
Like, so basically they get you, like when you lose your health,
Yeah.
and then you go into those hospitals, boom, $4,000 a night, and you're bankrupt. They just take all your money, all your assets,
there you go.
Everything. That's the scam. I figured that out early enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what we try to get people like wake up to that. And I was just talking about this earlier today, where they have created the situation within the society where if you're diagnosed with, say, cancer, or diagnosed with some kind of terminal ailment, and you have to go through well, or you choose to go through procedures and therapies that cause you to be sick for 3 to 6 to 9 months to an entire year, where you are deathly ill. You need to, you spend most of your time laying down in a bed. That's okay, because you have permission from the society to do that. So that person gets talked about how brave they are, how, they're fighting the affliction and that kind of stuff. If you don't do that, but you decide you're gonna fast for 2 months, and you might be bedridden for several weeks, or be mostly laying down in bed on what Eric calls Mother Nature's operating table. You think you're still gonna have a job after that? You think,
Right.
will you have a party with people with balloons coming, talking, get well? You're gonna get so much negativity and pushback from people, that because you're going against the programming. You're not authorized. You're doing something unauthorized. And then when you heal yourself and you feel better, people just they ignore it, like, oh, well, that was a fluke. I guess it happens sometimes. And
You
you
got
go into
lucky.
the doctor and they're like, oh, it's it looks like it's reversed somehow. Well, these things just happen sometimes. And you tell, well, I changed my diet and I was fasting. Well, no, it wasn't that. Of course not. But these things happen sometimes. Congratulations. And it's like, see, but that's why we need our space. So
Yeah.
we don't have to. I don't have to. When I was getting into the Mucus's diet and getting started, all of the classes, all the syllabi basically said, if you have to miss more than several days of class, you need a doctor's note. So when I was going through an elimination where I needed to go and not be going to lectures every minute, I basically I had to stand up for myself, and I went to each one of my, and I didn't care. I went to the professors and I'm like, look, I don't go to medical doctors. I practice natural healing, and if you want the book, I'll give you a copy of the book.
Here's my note.
Yeah, exactly. I literally
It's
did that. It was like, here's
160
this
pages
this is
long.
the
Here's the
note.
note. Read it.
And I gave it was a couple professors I gave that to. A couple professors like, okay, well, that's not necessary. Just okay, just because I told them, I'll get the work done. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna have to be out for a week or however long it was, and then I would stay. I went through my elimination, did my fasting, did my enemas, and that was the thing. What if we create an environment where that's not the exception, that's the norm? You create an
Yeah.
environment where we foster that type of support. When somebody's going through an elimination, they don't have to feel this anxiety about, am I going to lose my job? Am I going to get a worse grade in school? Am I gonna be able to provide for my family because I need to go through this elimination? For us and our value system, there's nothing more important than going through those eliminations, because that's where the real transformation takes place physiologically. But people, they don't like elimination. They're scared of it. They
I'm
want to
sick.
act
I
like,
need a pill.
yeah. I need a
Quick, take a
pill.
pill.
I need to suppress it. I've had this runny
Yeah.
nose for a long time, and so, and it's just,
Here's a poison pill. That makes it all better. See?
yeah. Here's a poison pill that's gonna
Yeah.
dry you out, and will
Now you're
dry
all
up your
dry and fit
nasal
to work.
cavity. Will mess with your hormones,
Yeah.
and
Thank you, doctor. You healed me.
yeah. Thanks, no thanks.
Yeah,
And so,
symptom-based medicine. Isn't it great? Yeah, that's another piece that, once we have that space in that island, we can recreate arid sanatorium, right? We can
oh
create like a
yeah,
whole
oh, I mean, we're
healing
gonna
space. And I guarantee you medical tourism is going to be a huge business on that island. And guess what we're going to take for payment? Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
only. That's
Yeah.
it. Word is going to spread. Once you have people coming to the island, going into the sanatorium, getting healed from every disease under the sun, and then being taught the Mucus healing system and how to maintain their body. Because technically, this book is a manual to your body. You know how you buy a new car and you get a freaking manual that's like 200 pages long? Or you get a nice
Right.
Mercedes Benz, bam. Nobody gives us a manual to our body, which is way more complex than any car, than any vehicle. People are clueless. They don't know what the hell to do with their body. They don't know how to maintain it. They don't know how to fuel it. They don't know how to clean it. They don't know anything. And that's why they get sick. The body, like your vehicle, breaks down. So we're gonna have the best human vehicle repair factory,
Yeah,
and
right.
then give them like a nice printed manual called the Mucus-free healing system and their Professor Spira to go when they leave the facility. And I guarantee you the word is gonna spread. We want you to market at all. People will just be like, "Whoa, I thought you were dead." Nah, I went to this island, spent a month there, came out, looked 20 years younger, lost all the weight, wrinkles went away. Look at me, I'm looking great. They're like, "Really? How much was it?" Only 5 bitcoins. That's it. It was cheap. Oh man,
Right.
I'm out of here. I'm off to the island.
Yeah,
Bring my
yeah.
Bitcoin. That's it. And that's how you make money on the island. And then that Bitcoin would just go into the common island treasury, and they would go to all the projects to build even more facilities on the island. Nice little bungalows for everybody, nice pools, beach volleyball, courts, like, auditoriums so we can have jazz music playing, we can have poetry recitals, we can have all kinds of fun things, and that's how that works. Like a communal capitalist society where we still make profit, but the profits go towards the betterment of everybody on the island and then everybody on Earth, right? Once this model spreads, it could be like the blueprint. I mean, that's how I
Right.
see it, and that's my life mission to bring that, to bear. And Next Level DeFi is the vehicle to get to that island
Right.
destination. Because I don't see any of those billionaires giving us any kind of money. Look at that Warren Buffett. What does he have? Like 90 billion? Bill
Mm.
Gates? Like all these billionaires, they're not doing shit. They're not doing anything for like everyday people. Why aren't they putting like their billions to work? Making islands and sanatoriums like that and healing people because they can't. They want to keep us enslaved. They want to use that money to make more money, and then they eat their pus and mucus and they freaking die.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
money
yeah,
goes to their
yeah.
children tax free. What's up with that? Those children didn't do shit. They just freaking like inherited. And then those children do the same stupid things their parents do, and it keeps on and on and on.
Right.
So I think it's time to break that cycle. And the irony is, we need money to break away from money. Like that's
Right.
the thing. We need the resources to build an island, autonomous island that functions on its own without the need of money. And then trust me, we're gonna get plenty of money externally from people purchasing our goods with Bitcoin or gold or silver to that end. That's still money. I still consider that to have some value.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it's
Yeah, I
just not
mean
as
it.
comfortable to use as Bitcoin. Because like silver and gold, it's like it's tough to store, tough to send. It's kind of but yeah, we have some of that. I don't see a problem with it. A couple of golden bolts on the island, in case Bitcoin goes down.
Right, right.
Have a couple of billion in gold, as a
But
stash, a little
the
stash.
real what we hadn't mentioned yet, really, which the big value, the whole idea of the resource is the fruits and vegetables. You're growing all your
Yeah,
own extra super duper organic,
yeah,
perfect
right there on the island,
right
farm to
on the
table.
island and have the contingency plans for weather. So we had some stuff growing underground and well, however you do all that, all the
Yeah,
different ways that you grow stuff. And but but that's the thing, you plan it out. That's the thing. You sit there, you put the blueprint together, you try to think through everything and have an actual plan, because again, that's what all these people did. You talking about these big cities from the New Yorks to Chicago, like that was somebody's dream, that was somebody's
yep,
plan in their blueprint. They wrote that out, they wrote that down, they aspired to that. That was where their consciousness was at. So it starts from there. What we haven't had is somebody do that, and they're not being fueled by pus and mucus. They're not being fueled by. I was going to share this went viral. My little rice, my
yeah.
rice reel, got 70,000 views.
The glue eater special.
Oh, wait, can you hear the audio? Did I
No,
activate that?
no.
I didn't activate it. Let's see. Let's see if I can share the
Yeah,
audio without it
yeah.
glitching
Glue.
out or
It's what's
doing.
for dinner. Like I'm saying is that man, eating glue, like literally just eating glue, just gluing yourself. Like
Right. Yeah, it's like glue. It's what's for
like
dinner. one of the greatest mucus formers and makes an excellent paste. I firmly believe through my experience with serious cases of sickness, awful boils, etc., prevalent among one-sided rice eaters. Don't you know that bookbinder's paste is made of fine white flour, rice, or potatoes?
It's the stuff. It's like pure concentrated evil.
Rice is one of the greatest mucus. Yeah, so I mean, and I guess that this is one of those examples where I had no clue that this was going to do this well, but I struck a chord. I forgot that, I guess, with rice, there's a lot of, now I can piss off vegans and meat eaters with saying that rice isn't good for you.
Yeah.
Because
you have to kill that thing.
What's that?
I think there's an echo. What I'm saying. Yeah, I can stop sharing. Yeah, that's good. Now.
Oh, who did somebody say it?
No, I heard it. I heard the
okay.
echo. Yeah, probably because when you share the audio on that thing, like whatever feedback.
Okay, yeah, I thought when I thought it stopped when I hit mute on it, but
yeah, man, like it's crazy. Like we gotta build our own dream, our own mission. I mean, and like nobody's building autonomous things either. Everything is so interconnected, right? And then when something crashes, like all this, like Texas blackouts or whatever, why can't they build redundant power grid with nuclear like technology, right? Why are they still using, like, they're all screaming about pollution and environment and the whole like climate whatever scam thing, like, okay, fine, why don't you build nuclear stations, which is completely 100% clean energy, and they solved the whole nuclear waste issue a long time ago, right? They got these small modular reactors now that are like half a gigawatt and they work for 10 years, and then you just like it's basically like molten salt in them. You press a button, bam, and there's like a little thing and you can store it like easily in the little warehouse, right? Like that's the kind of power I want for our island, right? Like a nice small modular reactor. Boom. Yeah, people been conditioned to think that nuclear is like super dangerous. It's super like, yeah, and I know about it, like, because I came from the Chernobyl accident,
from
right?
the thing, yeah, right.
But you gotta understand that Chernobyl station was a piece of garbage even back then. We're talking like it was built like in 1950 or something like that, or 1960. Like, don't quote me, but it was a long time ago. And even that station actually was super safe. Like, if you look at the Chernobyl miniseries, like, check that out if you haven't. Like, they go really into detail. These idiots screwed up like 5 safeguards in a row in that piece of garbage station, okay? Like, and the stations, like the nuclear tech that we have now, like Google New Scale, it's like whole next level. It's like a Tesla, like a space age. It's like a little like yeah, like that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And then they send those poor firemen in there. They all died after, like they all got
Yeah,
radiated
yeah.
out the wazoo. It was a real tragedy. I mean, Jesus. And Japanese came out and offered to help, and the Soviets refused. Like, which was even dumber, right? Like, these idiots. Yeah, but nuclear energy got a bad rap. Like, how many nuclear plant accidents were there in the last like 50 years? Like, basically none. It was Fukushima. And you know how many people died in Fukushima accident? Zero. Like, and that was bad. We're talking about a hurricane that hit and a tsunami or something, and that destroyed the whole thing. It's like, yeah, so nuclear energy is good to go now. They don't want to like bring it in because they need to control the energy. They need to control the energy and the money, to keep you enslaved. Because otherwise, what? We need free energy, unlimited energy for everybody? Nah, we can't have that. Otherwise, what are you going to need money for, right? Once again, resource-based economy versus money-based economy. See, they're driven by profit. I'm driven by just giving everything for free to the people. Free water, free fruits, free vegetables, free energy. And then once people have all that, then they're free to use their minds, which is the biggest untapped resource in the world, is human mind. Think about it. Nobody uses their mind to invent things because they're too busy trying to make money and survive. Like, that's the problem. They're way too busy scrambling to pay their bills, to pay their rents. They need 3 jobs nowadays, both parents, right? Think about it. Back in the day, in 1950s, only one parent worked and mother could stay at home and raise children. Now, 2 parents are working and it's still not enough. Both of them need to get like 3 jobs apiece, right? Like, how ridiculous is this? Like, think about it. If there's going to be 10,000 people who are mucusless on an island and they're fully taken care of, like everything is free, They got their shelter, they got their food, they got their water, they got their energy, they got their company, everything's taken care of. There's a decentralized, like a child center over there. There is like our own Mucus-free university back there. All good. See, what will those people do? I'll tell you what, they're gonna
Yeah.
invent things. They're gonna invent technologies. They're gonna
Well, because and I'll
create
pose the
art,
question,
poetry.
and so that we can like properly frame the pushback devil's advocate question, because what I already know we'll hear from a lot of, especially like capitalist type of people. I mean, we'll hear that from a lot of different angles, which would be say, okay, if all of that is taken, because to some people that sounds like socialism, if everything is taken care of. So the thing is, then the argument becomes, if humans don't struggle, then they lose their purpose or something, like if there's not enough suffering, there's not enough work, then people will get lazy, and it'll turn into Wall-E. So what prevents us from turning into Wall-E? Hopefully people know the reference that I'm talking about. So if things get that perfect where we have everything that we need, what prevents humans from essentially, because it would almost be like you would go back in that other direction, where you get lazy and then all of a sudden you'd be like, let me eat something that I shouldn't eat, and then now you're back in
maybe that's the post-mucus type of scenario. But mucusless people, they have all this energy, crazy energy, right? And if they don't need to spend that energy on like survival, then they're gonna put that energy into something fun, like like inventing new technologies, coming up with new art, new poetry, right? Performing for their fellow island dwellers or for people in the world. There's so many things to do. They could do sports, right? Competitions. They could be playing beach volleyball, handball, volleyball, paintball, soccer, whatever they want to compete in, whatever sport they want to do, they can do that. They don't need to work. But I'm willing to bet any kind of money that they will work just for the fun of it, for the like for validation from their peers. I think that's what it is. And actually, if you read the book,
it's
money can buy, they go into that.
I mean, but it's a thing that we'll definitely have to really, like, that'll be like, so I'll write papers on that, because
we'll see.
As an artist, there is because that also comes up in the capitalist discussions. It comes up with to have the inspiration to solve problems and start businesses, and all of that ingenuity comes from the struggle with which we find ourselves in. That's the argument. That within art, when you look at the best art traditionally and historically, is coming out of some sort of struggle, or at least some people would argue that. They say the most exciting art was coming out of the some people would classicalists would maybe argue that they the bourgeoisie and the royal classes and all, and that type of luxury produced a certain kind of art in the European traditions and other places. But that becomes an art debate. But a lot of people say, but the real exciting stuff was coming from impoverished people that went against the odds, and they created even though their lives were falling apart, they created this great musical art forms or visual art forms or this kind of thing. So I mean, that'll be the concern of a lot of people when we start talking like this.
Look at Florence, right? They weren't struggling. They were actually going through a golden age, like extreme prosperity. They were making like a ton of money. Everybody had money. And look what came out of that. So much art, so much poetry, like Florentian Renaissance. So that debunks that whole theory. Like, oh yeah,
but with that, but a lot of that, it was not based is much. There was some free thinking and stuff, but a lot of the high art was it didn't reflect the lower classes. It was very much a class based situation where people that know that they had so much recreation that they were able to create what you would call high art, which requires a certain level of education that would only be accessible to the very wealthy. you know, and very rich. And so
That's the problem.
there it was something very controlled. When you look at and this was always the age old thing, was like, you know, if you want to know who runs the world, look at who is employing the musicians and the artists. And so Mozart and all these guys were hired by, if it, you know, Beethoven or whoever, if it wasn't the church,
Patrons, right?
it was the king. Yeah, like the patronage
Patron model
system, you know. And so I mean, there's that kind of thing, but it's, you know, so but it's just something to
we'll figure it out.
think
We'll see what
about. That
happens.
my argument with that is that, and that's why the point I was trying to make, to bring it back to the physiological. We got more struggle than if you want struggle,
I got plenty.
Look no further than physiology, because we could have the perfect environment with everything taken care of, all the food that we could ever need right there. And all that's going to do is that's going to free us up to dig deeper, to eliminate deeper, not to go and just like, oh, life is good, I'm enjoying myself. It's like, no, now we have to get deeper into reconstructing the bloodstream. You know, now we get to, if you can do one breath a minute, now we're going to work to get to doing one breath every 5 minutes. One breath every 10 minutes, you know, doing, you know, the insane things with sun and fasting, and, you know, and just a total transformation of the human. And that's how you transition from Homo sapien to Homo spiritus. It's not going to be folks that's got a 9-to-5 that's like, you know, now they will start this process, but that level of transformation can only happen in an environment where you're not worried about that. You're not worried about where's your next meal coming from? Am I going to get fired? How's my 401k doing? What's up with the you know, or just worrying about the stock market, you know, worrying am I going to get shot walking to work, or getting on the bus, or, you know, all of those lifestyles that is not conducive for true healing and transformation at the level we're talking about. So my argument would be for the people that would come and say and think like that, because I already know so many people that will be the thing that their pushback will be like, well, because for some people it'll sound like a communism or some kind of socialism or some kind of thing, and they're not going to understand because they don't get the physiological impairment. You know, they don't understand how what we actually have, like what's actually in here, in the potential. Because a lot of people read this and they just think that we're talking about, you know, like, oh, you feel healthier and eat healthy, and, you know, we
eat fruits.
Clear up your skin, and, you know, feel a little better, overcome some ailments. It's like, no, we're talking about a total transformation of the human race to something that most people can't imagine, because even in their mythologies, they imagine you know, the immortal characters in their mythologies are so degenerate. What they do with Thor, they had Thor eating all kinds of fat Thor, and he was eating all this stuff. It's like, he's immortal, but he's eating all
God.
you know, all this kind of stuff. So that's where their head is at in terms of, you start talking about that level of longevity. Because when you're comfortable in your body, you no longer obsess about leaving your body all the time, all the out of body peoples, and believe, you know, we've done plenty of out of body travels and explored all the realms. What you learn when you actually get yourself sort of clean is you have all of those things at your disposal, and you have access to whatever it is, wherever you want to go and all that. But you don't need to, because you have the whole universe right here when you're at peace. But when you are constipated and you feel horrible, and like I say, if you want to really meet yourself, fast for a couple days, get rid of your coffee, whatever little drug you're into, get rid of your tobacco, your coffee, your weed, like whatever, your meat and your dairy, of course. Get rid of everything and then let's see how you feel. Now, if you're clean enough, you feel remarkable. You know, when you, oh man, a couple days in, you're like, feeling, man, you know, feeling good. But when you are totally taken over by all of the stimulants, then you know you're gonna feel horrible. You're gonna be like, God, man, you want to eat something, you want to drink something, you want to smoke something, you want to all of that, all those things come up because you don't feel good in your body. And so that becomes the first goal. The first thing to do is feel good in your body without stimulant.
Yeah, most people are never sober, man. They're always on something, right?
Right.
Either tranquilizers or, it's like speed, like, for example, taking Adderall or popping Xanax or, taking Valium so they can fall asleep. Then they, drink coffee so they can wake up. It's like, you can't just like take nothing. They're like, what? What do you mean you take nothing? Like, yeah, guy, like nothing. Like drink distilled water and eat some fruits. That's it,
Right.
No, they can't have that. They'll have like crazy withdrawal.
Right.
Yeah, but the whole island thing goes deeper than that. Then we have the concept of immaculate conception, right? What happens when all those people on that island clean themselves up and then they start creating families on the island? And now you have second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and those kids were never around pus, never around mucus. They're going to our schools, our kindergartens, our universities, right? They're not exposed to any of this garbage that's being like hoisted on them. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't want to get you canceled, but you know what I'm saying, right? That's a whole other game right there. Like those kids are gonna come up with technologies we can't even comprehend. Their brains are gonna be so powerful, so clean. Their blood is gonna be like so like pure that we're gonna be like, what the hell? What is this? What, teleportation? Force shields? Like what is that? Unlimited energy from air? Whoa! All right, let's get that going. That's the underground lab, please. Yeah, no, that's what I'm looking at, right? Like creating our own society, because fixing this one is gonna be a tough.
That's a dead that's a dead mission.
Dead
end.
We need to create our own
no,
and then filter out like everybody and kind of accept people that are willing to do the work, right? And trust me, when you're that island, you want to bring value to the island, because bringing value to the island allows us to sell that value for Bitcoin to the external world and use those resources to do, guess what? Improve the island for everybody. See how that works? That's proper communism, as you call it. And here's another little news flash. There's never been a real communist society in the history of this world. It's all fake. Russia was never a communist society. They had a bunch of like party assholes, sorry for my French, stealing everything, taking everything. So it was like a camouflage capitalist, like socialist crap, It's
socialism for the
abusing everybody.
dictators,
Yeah, it was never really governed. Like the whole definition of communism is that the community generates value, and then that value is used to improve the lives of that community. Does that sound like something that happened in the USSR? No. Is that something that's happening here in US? No. Basically, all the value that's generated is just being used to enslave everybody and improve the lives of like top 10%. Screw that. Like if that's capitalism, you can have it. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm not against money. Money is a good instrument, right? To exchange value in between parties. And if you use those resources for proper things. But is our tax money being used for proper things in US? Like, look at what's going on in this country, man. The roads are crumbling. Infrastructure is in the crapper. Like, it's just insanity. You got freaking, look at Detroit. It's freaking Mad Max Kingdom out there,
Yeah, well, and it's like
robbing each other.
And people forget so quickly. So now they want to complain about, oh, there's this homeless epidemic, and
my ass.
You made it illegal for people to work. You said you're not allowed to go into work. And many businesses shut down and ended, and so for all of this, we're supposed to be this capitalistic nation. That looked awful dictatorial to me. The shutdowns and all this nonsense that ruined people's lives. It was totally unnecessary. And now you see everybody, on the streets addicted to drugs, and they go like, wow, there's this infusion of homelessness and drug abuse and fentanyl addictions and so on and so forth. And it's like, that was by design. They knew what
they want that.
what was up,
Yeah.
you know.
They
And
want that fentanyl coming in. They want people addicted. They want those zombies walking around on trank, all
yeah, well, and
spazzed
they
out.
did that with, they've always done that. Crack, they did that with crack.
Yeah,
It
the
did.
CIA was bringing it in to LA straight from like Colombia, and then cooking it to crack, and then using the money from selling it to the black communities to wage war on the Contra or whatever that thing was. Yeah, watch
Mm,
Serious Snowfall if you want to get like a
mm,
full detailed look at that. It's crazy. Like the biggest drug dealer was the government. Like the
always.
CIA
Yeah,
was
always.
dealing the drugs to their own communities, to their own people. They're not your friends. I'm sorry to say, which is why I'm creating all of this along with our team to get out of that whole like circus thing. Like, nah, we gotta go. that's that's not. They can't continue for too long. This thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we're not a capitalist society either, right?
No, not at
It's
all.
basically it's capitalism for us, but socialism for the freaking like oligarchs, right?
Yeah,
Whenever the
yeah.
big banks lose money, guess what? The taxpayers bail them out. When I lose money, it's like, oh, you're on your own there, buddy. You're gonna have to. We're capitalists, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
go make some
bootstrap.
money.
Yeah.
Bootstrap, lift yourself up. Yeah, but it's like, oh man, sir, I'm from Chase. We just lost $800 billion. Can we get a bailout? Of course, no problem.
Yeah,
You're
like
way too big to fail.
we'll just print it. Hey, print
Just print it. There you go. Yeah.
8 million, just
Yeah, and then I come like, can I get 100 million to make an island? They'll benefit like the whole humankind. 100 million to make an island? Get the hell out of here! Like, get out of here, you commie! Like,
right.
like it's crazy. It's like one set of rules for them and one set of rules for us. Like, we have to work for the money. We have to slave for the money. They could just go to their friends at Fed Reserve and they'll just get the money for free. For like, what is it, 0.01% it was for the past 20 years, and now they raised it to 5%. Ooh, everybody's like, oh my God, you can get 4% a year on your savings. Yeah, how about getting 200% a year, on your savings in decentralized finance and not giving bankers a dime of your money? How about that? I think that's a
Right.
much better value proposition, which is what I'm bringing to the table.
Right.
Screw the bankers. Like, join decentralized finance revolution with us, and control your money yourself.
Yeah.
Don't give me access to your money either. I don't want access to your money. I don't want any control. I just want to teach you how to control your money and make it work for you, like, to the max. That's
Right.
my mission. Like, people are like, oh, I'll just give you money, you invest. I'm like, no. I don't play those games. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I don't want to be one either because it's all a scam. Like, whatever. If you want that, there's plenty. Like, you can go to Schwab, Fidelity. You can invest in your stocks and bonds and whatever. I mean, yeah, those are valid too. If you're doing that, I think they should be a part of your investment strategy, right? You should have
Right.
all your eggs in one basket. You should
Right.
have like a fifth in stocks, fifth in bonds, fifth in gold and silver, fifth in like DeFi, of like 20 different sources in DeFi, not just like one farm. Okay, don't do that. And you should have Bitcoin as a separate thing. Like, that's like digital gold. There you go. There is your financial strategy. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just my experience. What worked for me. So,
Yeah.
check mark. See, for
And
my friends.
so I mean, we were hitting on something there, because really what we're talking about is what it gets down into is, and why I think it's important to have this discussion, to work through the idea of purpose, of human purpose, of why are we here? Because that's when some people hear what we're talking about, that's going to be that reaction where it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, if I'm not slaving away, is like is my freedom gone? Or you think the freedom is going to go, or are they going to be inspired to still do something? But I was thinking of this quote. We were talking about reason, but this is mental diseases in Mucus diet. Arnold Ehret said, besides a congested system, I found that anyone mentally diseased has congestion, especially of the brain. One man on the verge of insanity was cured by a 4-week fast. There is nothing easier to heal by fasting than insanity. Such men and women have lost their reason. Their natural instinct tells them not to eat. I learned that if you heal through the Mucus diet healing system, all kinds of illnesses, most of the patients are relieved of greater or lesser mental conditions. So because we're talking about mental condition right here, like the
For real.
the as we say, reason, purpose, inspiration, motivation, where all of these things. And until you really understand the power where you make it your life's mission to clean up your blood and then reproduce
Yeah.
and have
There's purpose right
children
there.
and,
There you go.
clean your blood, you're there's your job description right there.
Yeah.
Like we just solved the problem
Yeah.
of like,
You don't know
man,
what to
life
do?
is
Do
gonna be
that.
too easy. All this, if I don't have to work for nothing, I'm just gonna become lazy. It's like, no, you need to go
No.
have 50 children. Get to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
we need to where we will repopulate the
Yeah.
planet with mucus-free people.
Yep.
We ain't
That's
waiting
the
for,
mission.
it's because, people don't like to hear this, but we will. I don't the time frame, I don't know, because it could be within the next 10 years, 20 years, 30, 50 years. I don't know. There will be a mass extinction event of humans. Like, there's going to be a large percentage of the human population will pass away prematurely. I don't want that to happen. I hope I'm wrong. But
Yeah. Same here.
I rarely am wrong about these things. This is sort of my thing. And I'm
It's
like,
getting
look, like
bad.
this is, we're just getting a little taste. We haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
When it becomes normal to walk down the street and humans are dying like flies around you, then there's places on the planet that this is already the reality, whether it
Yeah.
be by
For sure.
war or it be by illness or whatever. You can definitely go to places where all around you is death and destruction. But when you times that by 100, and it's going to be a situation where, where people are just falling out left and right. And those of us, like I often say, there's really going to be two large camps of humanity. On the one side, you're going to have the people that take the extremism of the overeating and the obesity. It's just going to get so much more extreme, where just when you thought it couldn't get any
Wally's
more
world.
extreme than my 600-pound life. Like, we're literally have a
That
television
show.
channel, TV shows that feature people that are over 600 pounds. And
That's crazy.
it's like, that's sick. That's a sickness. These folks need help. We all need help, but we're going to treat this like a circus, and let's make people that are not quite 600 pounds feel a little bit better about themselves. That just gives you that really shows you where reality really is at, in the people's consciousness. And when that starts to go downhill even further, that's when, welcome to mass extinction event humans, where, like I said, I don't know percentage. Eventually I'll give a prediction of what percentage, but it's going to be a percentage, a pretty big percentage of folks that are not going to make it. We want to have our percentage of folks. Like, this is the closest thing you're going to get to a modern day ark. It will be Arid
Look, listen.
Island.
Once all the basic needs are taken care of, there are only really two things left to do. One is create new, like, technology, right? Invent things, or procreate. That's it. Start families. Have children. Like, I plan to have hundreds of children personally. Why not? If I'm living to be 200-300. Bam. Like, why not? It's my holy duty to bring Arid's kind of vision to life, and have that immaculate conception all the time. Have myself and my partners fast for a year on water before we even start, the process of conception, right? Nobody's
Right.
doing that. I mean, look at the children being born, man. They're degenerate. I mean, they're being born with all kinds of, diseases and things. I'm not gonna, name the reason why. I think a lot of people know, due to a certain
Right.
mandate, the
Yeah,
past
in
3 years.
recent years. But I
In
mean,
recent years.
baby, for a long time, babies are being born in horrible conditions. That's a direct result of the parents and
Yeah.
what the parents are eating and how they're
Healthy
living.
parents. And then they're like, oh, why is my child autistic? Like 50 years ago, there was barely any autistic children. Look it up. And now it's like, now 1 in 8 children are being born autistic. That never happened before. What
No.
changed between then and now? Food for thought, right? And it's getting worse and worse. And that's why the birth rates are plummeting across the world. And the children that are being born are basically like degenerate, like worse than their parents. And what kind of children do you think they're gonna have once they're adults? If they're even gonna be able to have any. I mean, look at this. It's like a big medical procedure.
I mean, this like as I'm like looking
Jeez.
at these, I like this makes me mad. Like these images, because
They're
when you
screwed
know
from
what
childbirth,
we know,
from birth.
none of
Horrible.
this is not necessary.
Yeah, those
Babies
poor
do not
children,
have to
man.
be born with diseases when the parent is just halfway rational, halfway knows something. And look
Yeah,
at
they're like,
all
oh,
of this
you're like, oh my
suffering. And
God,
now,
what happened? How did this happen? Oh, yeah. Well, what were you eating when when the conception occurred, right? What kind of drugs were you taking? Were you drinking alcohol? Like, they're like, oh, that doesn't matter. I can do whatever.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
well,
just, I mean, you don't even have to get into the alcohol. We look no further than your dairy, your cheese,
yeah,
all the stuff that they think they're supposed to be consuming, your
yeah.
burgers, your
I'm eating
pizza.
for two now. That's the favorite saying. I'm eating
Yeah,
for
yeah,
two. I'm eating
eating
for
for
three.
two.
No, you're just eating double the garbage. Sorry to tell you.
So this,
Yeah,
so
it's
so
sad.
this is supposed to
It's
be
sad.
something like people supposed to learn from this. People supposed to see this and not just be so just put their hands up like, oh, woe is me. We don't know what's wrong. What is this? We're telling you what's wrong right here. And it
Yeah.
is the answer of why this is occurring. And if you ever cared about help, just man, this stuff just burns me up, man. And that's why we go hard because people think this is a game. People think that this, that's why when people start coming up and they're so extra happy about look at my raw food and this, and I'm, this, well, I'm carnivore today. And, it's like, man, that we don't,
Carnivore.
we ain't going easy on y'all, like this is,
Supermarket carnivore hunting those aisles for packaged meat.
it's like
Yeah.
so much suffering that's unnecessary. Are we saying that
Poor
every
children.
child is gonna not have to go through something, or be, it's like, man, eventually they won't at all. But
Yeah, that's
in
our vision.
these initial couple generations, we got a lot of work to do. There's some dormant pus and mucus pockets that even those of us that really try to clean hardcore, there might be something that you pass on, but at the end of the day, it's going to be nothing like this. And next week on the podcast, have a couple guests that have had some children, and we're going to have some really interesting discussions with them that has been doing the diet and had some children, and a whole different experience. No hospitals, no. The mother is literally 10 minutes after giving birth, she's ready to go back to work and go walking around, like not laid up, like it's an emergency medical procedure. In our condition, having a child is literally an emergency medical
Life-threatening
emergency,
emergency.
a
Yeah,
life-threatening medical
yeah.
emergency, to
It's like
do
no joke.
something that is supposed to be natural, that's not supposed to need drugs and oxygen masks and all this kind of stuff. Like this is what it looks like when humans, when I say it all the time, when humans get divorced from nature.
Yeah.
It starts with what they eat and it ends here with diseased babies. You should never have a baby that would go through this,
Yeah, like children are basically paying for the sins of their parents,
of their
right?
parents.
That's what's happening. They're paying the price. They have to pay the piper because mother couldn't eat like clean at least. I'm not talking about fasting and all
And
that.
and that's why we try to bring this message, because people don't want to think that we're right. They don't want to think that diet has that much to do with it. They want to blame everything else, and like, well, there's there's chemicals in the air, and there's chemicals in the food, and it's like they're literally looking around for what kind of excuse can I make when you don't have to go any further than pus and mucus eating. Like, we'll fix the other stuff.
Yeah,
We'll fix it. Like, if you fix the pus and the mucus first, then the consciousness becomes such that you're not going to allow people to spray your food with stuff. You're not going to allow people to, like, dare a plane to come through our area spraying something. Like you say, we got a little something for them.
We'll spray some real quick.
Yeah,
back,
we got something like, don't you dare spray a darn thing anywhere near us. Like, you know what I mean? And so, but it takes consciousness to have that kind of attitude to take your power back, to know that you have the power, to not be a victim, because every time I hear people talking about they're spraying in the hair, it's coming from this victim mentality, as opposed to, we're going to get an island and we're going to fortify it. So
what are you going to do about it if they're spraying?
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? You're just going to complain about it, or make a video about it, or like, I want to inform people. It's like, it's a waste of time. The only thing we need to do is to inform people to stop eating pus and mucus forming foods. Yeah. I mean, like, if you informed people of nothing else, that would be what you need to inform them of. And then everything else follows after that.
Yeah, man, this thing goes deep,
Man, so ridiculous. So yeah, so what we're talking about is we will have
there's a whole industry over there.
Whole industry
Around this stuff.
Baby
like,
the surgeries, and and we'll have those.
It's supposed to be heroes and whatever. Like, oh, look, they're so heroic. All these nurses and doctors. Yeah, but what's causing all this, in the first place, right? We don't need any of this, like, doctors and nurses, except for maybe like emergency surgeries. Like, if I break my leg or I cut my arm on some kind of like glass or something. Yeah, sure. Keep those around. That's like 5%, right? The other, though, is all of this stuff, all of this mess, basically.
Yeah.
Those we can
fire. Jaundice. And so all I tell people, read the Mucus' diet healing system. You want to see where we're coming from. Most of you all have. That's actually why, if you're watching this far into this video, you probably are you're on board. You're in alignment with us here.
PSA, if you want to learn more about Bitcoin and what it is, you can read the book Bitcoin Standard. That's my top recommendation for that. So, I've even given a copy to Brother Air. He read it. He liked it. He understood the paradigm shift.
The endorsement.
Yeah. So, there you go. Got Brother Air's endorsement on that book. So, Jacques Fresco is basically like the next step after Bitcoin, right? That the best things money can buy book. That's already passed Bitcoin into resource-based economy, where it's just like, the money doesn't matter anymore, because every resource is so abundant that it's ridiculous to charge for it. It's like somebody would charge you to breathe air, right? Like, why? There's plenty of air. I can just go outside and breathe all I want. No.
Yeah, and what we do with the resource-based economy, it's a way to have a large population type of structure that can house a large population, but you're living like in a way with the natural abundance of the earth, because you take away these human systems and all this constructed concepts of all these things we were talking about today. You put yourself in the right place as humans. Where did we come from? We came from equatorial environments. We're a tropical species, and if we were in a tropical places that had abundance of fruit, and if you go back because what a lot of people think, well, there's not a lot of places that really have enough. If you go back far enough in the human, because we have people in the community that eat one piece of fruit a month. Now, I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying, to give you a frame of reference, if you were clean enough to where, and you understand that eating is a cleansing, is helping you cleanse, then you don't need to graze every day like a gorilla that they go around and they go grazing all day. They basically just go to a different section that has some fruit and graze, and then go and that kind of thing. It's like we're human. You're at the crown of creation. So you clean enough, you could eat a piece of fruit a month,
Yeah.
piece of fruit every couple months or something like what, it's just a different, and that abundance, if you get, one apple tree, or eat just a couple seasons out of the year. That's like what Brother Air does. He already does that. He only eats, a couple, like a month here and a few weeks there, but then the rest of the time he's fasting. Again, I'm not promoting that. I'm just saying everything that you think you know about nutrition and the human body is wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you need to do any of these things. I'm just saying you're wrong. And that should hopefully compel you to study, to look into some of these things and say, okay, then what are we really talking about? So what we're able to do is create, with like a resource-based economy structure, now you're creating the kind of abundance that is natural for humans in nature to begin with.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to work for, I need to
9 to 5, put in the hours, exchange
and
my
this
time
is
for money.
and this always gets on my nerves too, because all the the people in the self-help communities and the entrepreneur communities love to do the hunter-gatherer analogy and say, when we were hunter-gatherers, we had to work so hard and we had to go and kill the animal, and if we didn't kill it, we didn't eat that day, and then they say, and here comes agriculture, and it got so much better, and we organized ourselves, so they try to make this progress sort of thing, when that whole narrative is just wrong, because they don't go back far enough. When they talk hunter-gatherer, well, let's go back to the fruit-based humans. You got to go further back, not to this little caveman concept that they're so obsessed with that caveman
somewhere
thing.
In the cold, barely surviving, hunting.
It's like that's not where humans came from. We're a tropical species. Like where do you think we came from? And but then that would start to break down their paradigm of who their identity, where they think they came from. And with this, and whether you talk paleo and all these this nonsense, it's like
natural diet from thousands of
natural
years.
diet
Yes,
from thousands. Just is all
that's some good
made
marketing
up
right there, though. They definitely got that whole marketing piece, like keto and paleo. All those people. That's how people like that. They're like, oh yeah, you have to grind back to the roots. Yeah, right. More like back to the fruits. That's where you gotta go.
Right.
Not back to hunting meat once a month, right? In some frozen tundra or something. That doesn't seem like a place that people would live on. And they'll be in some tropical spot where a banana falls off a tree, hits you on the head, you pick it up and you eat it. That's it. That's your work for the day. You're literally lying under a tree just waiting for it to ripen and fall on you. Not running around with a spear trying to kill a mammoth that's like 3 tons or something like that. I'm sure people done that too, but it wasn't
that was all
survival.
Post pus and mucus humans, after the fall of humanity. There's nothing progressive about anything in that timeline, in that narrative. There's nothing positive about that.
That's why I can't wait to do some real research on that island, to look into all these things, how human body really works, how much food do we really need, how a mucus's brain works, right? In terms of creativity, like what happens with the whole laziness debacle. Are people going to get lazy, or are they going to actually start just creating like a Cambrian explosion of new technologies, new ideas? I think it's that. I don't think
to be freed up.
Think all that energy you have. And you can't waste that energy on a job anymore. You don't need to worry about survival anymore. And you have all this energy when you're on fruits. I'm sure a lot of you who's been on fruits or fasting, you have crazy energy after a couple of weeks. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to be just lying on the ground being lazy? No. You're going to put that energy to work. You're going to create things. That's what I'm betting on.
And there is an element of the outgrowth of those of us that come first. And that's that's not our that it's like that's the old hippie model of like you just chilling all day and you're not doing anything. Just like peace and peace,
we're
just trying to do the least amount possible to just be, man, just
Tuning in and
grooving
tuning
and
out,
being,
right? That
you
whole thing.
know. And it's like, nah, we want to put in work to we're people that work, but
Yeah.
we work for ourselves in our community, and not for you know evil Uncle Sam and evil. We
Yeah.
ain't
When I
working for to
when I
to
try to get that money to flex like Andrew Tate and whatever, to get
yeah,
that
yeah,
money,
yeah. We're
get
not
those
like
Bugattis, get those
trying to,
planes, get those
yeah,
women, start flexing. Like I couldn't care less about you. I had that period. I went through that
right.
phase. There's nothing there. That's empty. That brings you no satisfaction. What brings
Yeah, like this,
satisfaction
this yeah,
is achieving
this
my
is the
mission.
this is the flex I'm interested in right
Yeah,
here is
I guess the flex. You got the
abundance,
island.
abundance, and the it's like the
Yeah, that's the
people that are
ultimate
there
flex.
are
You got
on
your
the
own
same
community on the
page. Yeah,
island.
that's the ultimate flex. Like I don't,
That's the flex.
it's like what where you looking at people like what a Bugatti, what, like you still playing in the
Yeah,
sandbox. I mean
yeah.
that to me that's on
Little
the
toys.
same level as when you was in high school and somebody came in and they had like the fake Rolex, and
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like got the clothes and they trying to, like, yeah, it's like, man, and most people know that the folks that do a lot of that don't really have serious money, like the one,
Yeah, it's all
like
flash.
designer clothes and stuff. The people that buy the most of these designer clothes, folks that
Yeah.
really can't afford it and shouldn't, but it's like the status symbol. They want to try to fit in and be this whole status where we
It's
just,
not it's low status though. The real
as
rich
low
people,
status.
they
None
don't
of
flex
none of
like that.
that is, none of that is important. It's all. I mean, that's all real smoke and mirrors. Where they really tried to create value out of nothing. Just
Yeah.
just
It's all
out
just
of
marketing.
just
Just
literally
marketing.
marketing.
Yeah, that's all it is. All this brand garbage, like whatever. Like the real happiness comes when you're ultra healthy, when you're super clean, and you're on an island that's completely autonomous with no stress, and you're surrounded by a community of like-minded people. That's that extreme. That would be extreme happiness for me. That's like my mission. That's what I visualize every day. That's what drives me. Not like making money and being rich. Like I made the money. So what? It brought me nothing but pain. Basically, because I was too dumb and too filthy to put that money to good use, you know, and hence I lost most of that money, right? Because I guess it wasn't meant to be, but it's fine. I'm on track now. Now the money is just one of the tools that I need to make my mission reality. That's it. That's all it is. No more, no less, right? And that's how you win. Once you have the eye on the price.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about level of consciousness and what it is you're trying to do. What, and most people are living on other people's programs. And so if the program
Yeah.
is Bugatti, Mercedes, whatever, they just that's the becomes the focus and what they're trying to do, like you said, the Andrew Tate and the Liver King and just all this nonsense where
Wait until they
they're
lose their health. That all that stuff is
they
not
lose
gonna
their
matter.
health. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. Then
Like
all of a
that's
sudden,
happened to me.
yeah, here comes some
Like
lung
money, who
cancer.
cares?
Here comes the colon cancer. Here comes the
Yeah,
name it, whatever, and then it's too late. And then they'll try to do something. They'll try to throw all kinds of money at it, and they'll go to the place in Mexico or all the places in South America that do
yeah,
all your stem cells and all these extra homeopathic type of methods and all this stuff that's $100,000 to go down and have them do something so basic that we could tell you about that a couple grand. Like, well, here's what
yeah. Don't worry,
really you could get it
we'll
for
take their
free off the
Bitcoin once they come to the
YouTube
island. It's
videos.
fine.
Yeah, we'll help them.
We'll take all their money. Don't worry about it. We'll put their money to good use on our island,
Yeah,
so it's fine.
yeah,
Once
really.
they're desperate enough and sick enough, and they come to the island, be like, no worries, for you, special price, 10 Bitcoin, and that's it. 1 month,
Right.
we're gonna get you spiffy, and back into the world, eating pus and mucus again, so that you can come back. We'll take another 10 Bitcoin.
Right.
That was Arnold Era's, business model for his sanatorium. He was just like fixing them up just enough to let them out, and then they would just, go back to pus and mucus eating, and then return to sanatorium next year. That was genius right there, But long term, not the goal. Long term, we gotta get them eating properly so they don't come back. Right? There's always gonna be plenty of clients besides them. Yeah. So anyway, we've been cooking up a lot of stuff in the research development group. You know, even got a little business going for Monica.
Yeah, we got a little idea. We got
Yeah.
an idea going.
I'm not gonna,
Yeah,
like
we're not gonna yeah, we're not gonna
reveal
talk
her
about it
secret.
yet. Yeah, but yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, but it could be big though. Could be
Definitely to watch.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
that was like a miniature example of a mucusless like brain meld, right? Like a mucusless mastermind. Like you saw
right,
that in like 20 minutes, bam, we just came up with a business idea, with
right.
like a domain, bought the domain, like that's it.
Yeah,
Off you go. See
yeah,
that
yeah.
that right there is proof, that imagine that but times 1,000,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like
Yeah,
by a
that
bunch
but
of
times 1,000. That
yeah,
was like
yeah.
a, that was like a light version of that whole mucus's
Right,
brain,
right, right, right. Yeah,
mining that resource,
where
the
that was
brain
us,
power.
but yeah, if it's like our progeny, you got dozens of people in these little masterminds doing that type
Yeah,
of
exactly.
that type of work and coming up with just like brilliant ideas and just
Yeah.
yeah,
How,
man.
how
That's
much
that.
is that? How much is that worth? It's
Yeah,
like the Y Combinator model, right? I imagine the whole island is like an incubator of new technologies and business ideas, right? And there's crazy ideas just coming out, and people are actually making those ideas a reality, and then
right,
selling it with Bitcoin to the external world,
right,
while and then sharing the proceeds equally among all the like people that live in the island, right? In like a kind of like a joint wallet, but then everybody has their own wallet as well. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like you're
yeah,
mixing capitalism, communism. I call it communal capitalism. That's a
mm,
crazy icon, like a hybrid of the best of all of these things, right?
right.
Without the totalitarian piece, please. Like no
Yeah, yeah,
dictatorship,
yeah. None,
no
yeah, right,
firing squads, no KGB, no CIA, none of that crap. Like we're not gonna need any of that,
no,
that pus and mucus structures. But yeah, that's kind of, and then that once we do the whole, child explosion kind of plan, right? And then they start forming their own little masterminds and they start coming up with their crazy ideas. Man, I don't know where this thing is gonna go. I mean, I'm very curious to see.
right.
I'm curious to see how long people like the people's lifespan, right? Like they tell us it's 100 years, 120 years, but is it really though? Has anybody actually tested it and observed it and analyzed it and documented it? Right? Like I don't
Hmm.
trust anything those people like say. I mean, come on, look at the past 3 years. I mean, I'm not gonna, name
Right,
terms because we don't want YouTube to ban our stuff. But
right.
the past 3 years, it was all bunch of garbage and scam and lies, all of it, like the whole thing. They're just like destroying people's livelihoods, censoring people everywhere for what? For a freaking lie that they're now admitting is a lie. Like, look at Fauci testifying, in front of Congress and saying the whole social distancing shit was all made up. Like, he's just saying that. He's like, oh, we just wanted to be prudent. We wanted just in case, just in case. Yeah, just in case people were getting those like experimental, jabs. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, we all became little rats. Not me though. For big pharma, screw that. But anyway, let's not get into that. That's a dangerous topic for our YouTube overlords.
Yeah,
Before they
yeah,
cancel us again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Google, right? Do no evil.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that didn't work out.
I brought up a picture that I'm not gonna share. It was
Yeah,
now
yeah.
we're getting.
Don't.
It
Don't.
was now I'm like, oh, I'm
No,
getting
no, no,
like
no.
about to go there. Like,
No, no,
I'm
no,
like
no. Let's
ah,
not. Let's not. No, 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 no.
let's
See, once we have
yeah,
our own YouTube up and running,
yeah,
full
yeah, yeah,
encryption, then we're gonna show everything. Trust me. There's gonna
yeah,
be documental series about all of that stuff, and then like gloves are gonna come off once we're on the island. I guarantee you that. Once I'm over there and we have all our own channels of content distribution up and running, oh, normies better beware. There's gonna
right,
be some stuff coming down the encrypted pipeline,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But for now, we're gonna be nice and obey our Google overlords. We love you, Google, YouTube. Please don't cancel us.
Yeah,
Not
thank
yet,
you,
anyway.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We still need to reach, people that use these channels
right.
and bring our message to them. So, it's like a necessary evil. Gotta use them, I guess, until we have our own stuff. That's also a plan that's in the works,
Yeah.
right? Like
Oh
make
yeah.
our own system, our own YouTube, our own Gmail, our own everything, like fully encrypted and autonomous. Once again, that's another thing I'll be working on, like a full stack of everything that we can use, so we don't have to use their crap, so they have no control. See, once again, our own system, our own internet, our
Mm,
own money, our own island, our own energy, our own water, our own everything. And then
yeah.
all that we're gonna need is for them to leave us alone. That's it.
Right.
Just don't come to our island. Don't try to like enforce your dumb laws on us. You know what I mean? Or try to make us pay your dumb taxes that go to nothing that you just waste. We're good. Just stay the hell away, and there'll be no problem. And if you don't stay away, well,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a different scenario. Let's not get
Right.
into that.
Yeah. Yeah. We won't talk about that. Those
Yeah, we'll talk about
scenarios.
that
Yeah.
elsewhere. Yeah, man. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
first
But
step is
this
uh is the free training. Come to the free
first
training.
step is you want to
That's the first step. I'll
get
put you on the
plugged
road
in.
to financial freedom and the
Yep.
escape from wage slavery. Step by step, you can learn how to make your money work for you, and then basically that passive income will replace your job income, right? And that's it. And then you can just tell them to, go screw themselves. Like, that's it. I quit. And then you have the time, see, with that passive income coming in to work on your mucusless diet healing, journey. And on a business, on another business, they'll bring you more money. And that's how this
Right.
works. See, you got to escape from both, plus the mucus addiction and from the, wage addiction. That's addiction
Like
as
you say,
well.
fit
That's a comfort
physical,
trap.
physiological liberation, financial liberation, time liberation. I've been adding
Yeah.
that on stuff. I want to not just have financial freedom, but time
Yeah,
freedom,
time. Yeah,
where your
time is
time
super
is your
important.
own. Time is so much more valuable than the money thing, and people don't really
Yeah.
think about really
Yeah,
understand
they're
that.
selling their time for money. You're selling your life for money to basically afford all these things. Like, and you can use that time for so many better things. Like, inventing stuff, spending time with your family, doing sports, doing hobbies, right? Playing
Yeah,
music,
like you
like
said,
all
having
kinds of
50
things.
babies.
Yeah, having 50 babies, have 100 babies. Shoot,
Yeah,
like, why not, right? Especially if your partner is mucusless, that's not gonna ruin her body having so many babies, right? That's another factor. Like,
right,
look at women nowadays; they have 2, 3 babies and they're freaking wrecked. They're shot. Like their teeth are falling out. It's crazy. Like when I was dry fasting, like a young mother was there, and she just had a baby, and she completely ruined herself. Like her teeth are
mm,
falling out, her hair was falling out, because guess what? If you're not clean, if you don't have like a reserve of, like, I guess minerals or whatever, the baby takes it out of you. Like it took it out of her. It like drained her of all vitality, and she became completely like shot. And I was like, why are you dry fasting? That is like you, you don't have to do that. You have to like eat fruits and vegetables to like replenish yourself. But I guess
right.
whatever. She didn't quite get it. And I wasn't into MDHS back then, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. But she was desperate. Yeah, so you gotta free up your time. Like, that's the biggest thing. That's why when people get caught up in that grind, in that hustle, like I've been there. I worked 3 jobs while going full time to school. Like I had no time for anything, and that's part of the reason I was doing dumb things, because I had no time to think. That's the problem. When you don't think, you do stupid shit. Like, it's just how it is. Well, now I got plenty of time to think and scheme and plan. Like,
Yeah,
now, now,
yeah.
now I'm going in the proper direction with a good team around me, with good friends around me, with my health back, with a business that I spent 7 years basically like monk mode, just building it, and it's starting to kind of come to fruition, starting to generate. Like with this business, I made like no money for 7 years. I was just straight up building for 7 years. No marketing, no sales, no nothing. I was just building a product while my passive income was supporting me, right? Would I be able to do that if I had to like go to a job and and try to survive? No, I can't. And that's like what I'm trying to say. Like you can do things like that where you could just like for 7 years build something great, and then on year 8 you make $1 million with it, right? And you take that million and you put it into the community and you create value for others. You buy like a piece of land in Florida and start a prototype community there, right? I'm not saying we're gonna go to the islands straight away. We can always like transition to it. right? Everything in life is a transition, step by step by step. Yeah, and that's why this training workshop, that's the first step on the transition away from selling your time for money, right? Like you got to start somewhere. I didn't get the money right away either. I had to put in the work, but slowly and surely, I was building it up to a point where now it could sustain me indefinitely. And I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this business, but I'm doing it anyway because otherwise, what's the point? That's my mission, right? I'm bringing this value to people, and I'm gonna get resources for bringing that value that I'll put to work on my mission. That's just how it works.
Yep.
Yeah, poor babies. Think of the babies. Think of the babies.
Yeah, we got.
Look at this sad picture, man. Man,
I mean, this is just not. This is not how it has to be. Is all we're
yeah,
saying. Is a whole different level
could be a lot easier than this.
of yeah, just so much easier, less pain, less suffering, less. But you you have to be ready to divorce to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like you can't have both. You can't have youthfulness and your aging slow down and to feel all this beautiful vitality and to be protected from this kind of thing when you're still dealing with
Yeah,
taco
gotta give up the
hell and
drugs.
the
Gotta
real
give up those
drugs.
drugs. Gotta give up the drugs.
You get that has to be top priority. Because as long as Popeye's chicken and Church's chicken and all this nonsense, this is the result. This is the result of McDonald's. This is the result of Burger King. This is the result of all this. Like, oh, like we said, we got our agriculture and we have our, we can have all this cheap food and so on and so forth. And this is the result. You got humans that can't even have healthy children, and they can't even survive childbirth.
Yeah.
And we are not designed to be this sick.
Yeah, we're well designed by nature if we just follow the proper manual for our body's maintenance, like, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of these a lot of the people couldn't even say this. The people in these that we're looking at, like I pooped today. People ain't even, they haven't pooped in a couple days, and
Yeah,
that's normal for them. Like
yeah, they
poop
need to take
every couple
laxative,
days.
right, to do their thing. It's like, oh, I can poop
Laxative.
anytime.
Like I said, so, I mean, some people
Take some
they just
pills.
I used to get kind of surprised because I would work with people that would talk about like, yeah, they only have they had went periods in their life where they would only have a bowel movement every couple days, like that was normal. And dang, and
Yeah,
that's
it's gotta be hardcore in there, huh? For 2 days, you're eating that pus and mucus like
and
it's
so I
all
mean, but
building up.
that's the connection that needs to happen from constipation, not being able to, that level of constipation, and if you got skin issues and just everything is just totally constipated, but you think you're going to have a really healthy child when you're in that condition.
Yeah,
There's a disconnect in understanding and consciousness, and where that's not a priority for most people or most mothers. And yeah, it's going to be real interesting. You start seeing these babies born from as we have the more long-term carnivore people, and then they have some like, oh, all right, we're gonna watch that from afar because I don't want to be nowhere near them babies, boy.
yeah. Second generation carnivores,
Yeah,
supermarket carnivores coming in.
Super, not real carnivores.
Yeah,
Supermarket.
they're hunting the aisle.
Yeah, they're like,
All these
yeah,
carnivores. I'm like, why don't you get out there in the jungle and kill something?
yeah.
Yeah.
Go out there
Eat
and
it.
sink
You're a carnivore,
your
right?
canine teeth
Come on,
into
do it.
something, and
Get that antelope, like jump on it, like rip its throat out and then just eat it, everything. No, they just go to the supermarket. They get a nice little piece of meat in the package, all, you ready for them to consume. Go to the, checkout. Yeah, there's those carnivores right there.
This is why do so many black women die in pregnancy?
Yeah,
We could do a whole episode on that.
damn. Yeah, it is like a real like emergency, a life-threatening
Yeah,
situation. Giving
yeah,
birth. Back in the day, women just pop a squat and that's it, and then get back to work. Like
right.
whatever, tilling fields or whatever it is they were doing.
Why giving birth in the U.S. is surprisingly deadly. I
Yeah,
mean, they
well,
just even this
you
nurse
can look
it
at the
was had
picture.
nurses. I mean, just
Jesus
looks
Christ.
like so like this. God, like just looking
Jesus
into
Christ.
just
She's
like
just
just. I
like
mean,
horrified. She's like, "What the hell is going on here? Like, what is this?"
right? Like, I mean, this
Jesus
is
Christ.
like you say. This is what it looks like when you lose. When you've lost already, you've already died. You've already went to hell. Like
Yeah.
we trying to work back from purgatory and try to get some back to some semblance of, as like I said, this is a Kentucky. This is a Kentucky-based chicken birth.
What is it? Kentucky based what?
I don't know why I think it's just a funny phrase, but it's like we got that's what we have is these Kentucky fried chicken based births. It is why
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
oh, and so
KFC man.
it's like
You
yeah,
pay for it.
you laugh to keep from crying,
Yeah, man. It's either laughing or crying, right? It is what it is. Yeah, it's a tragedy of nutrition, right? That's what that is. Yeah, they keep those hospitals in business, right? That's what's up. That is their business,
Let's see. I wonder what are we eating? What's the mothers eating after their why you
Whatever
can't
that.
eat during labor? So there's some that they're like in labor. Give me some food. Like
Like,
no,
I'm
you
hungry. Come
you have
on.
to you got to fast right now. No, I'm hungry.
They're like, push. Like, no, give me that chicken. Come on.
See, here we go. Don't get me started on this. Sick baby.
Yeah,
They pump full of chemicals.
gotta keep them
What are we
strong,
feeding them? Some wheat based spaghetti. And probably not organic, not
A little
you
bit of
know
mucus to keep them strong.
straight mucus, but that form of wheat is very well. I mean, they already put a bunch of chemicals in the baby. Now that's
Yeah.
more chemicals, more from the wheat, that type of wheat product. And then we got milk here, so feeding this child the very food that is that's the cause of its initial illness.
Yep.
Milk here. I can't, man. They still doing that milk thing. They still.
Milk is
I
not
mean,
going
you
away,
want to
man.
talk about? I mean, these folks. I mean, they just mastermind evil on such a level, and that's why what we're talking about. We're gonna have our incubators of our little geniuses working as hard on the solutions to transform humanity as they worked on ways to kill humanity and to keep
Yep.
humans subjugated and enslaved to their milk
Have our own
agenda.
marketing going. Because they were good at marketing, man. The whole like "milk does your body good" campaign. Man,
Excellent.
that was
Yeah.
that was some good marketing. I mean, I hate it, but at the same time, I gotta give them props. I can't like say it was bad because yeah, they're great at marketing. That's they've been doing it
Yeah.
for so many years. I mean, they're pros, real pros. They got all the celebrities involved with the mustache thing. Remember? Like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah. Yeah.
man,
All the milk
it's like, oh, milk does
mustache.
your body good. Look, Michael Jordan drinks milk, and that's why he jumps like a zillion miles. Like, yeah, right. That's not why. He jumps that despite having milk.
This is what I eat in a day after her
Ugh.
pregnancy. We got French toast, bacon, eggs, but that
Yeah.
reconstituted egg,
So that's one healthy
probably
one for you,
hash
man.
rounds. I don't
Same,
see any
whatever that is.
fruits. Ugh, that's bacon. That's just fat. That's just straight fat based bacon.
She's recovering, man. Come on. She needs it.
Right.
Look at that face, man. She's all, oh.
Yeah, cookie. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean she's happy she survived the
Yeah.
medical emergency,
Yeah,
and
man.
we got cookie. So I don't see any.
Yeah.
There's no. Where is there fresh juice? Oh no, there's
Uh,
A&W. No
yeah.
fresh juice.
AW and some kind of like Gatorade or some over
Yeah,
there.
there's
Like,
a
oh yeah,
there's a
Pepsi right there.
Pepsi. Yeah,
Yeah, Pepsi
Pepsi.
behind it.
Yeah, they had where's all kinds of. Yeah, there was like Gatorade or whatever,
Burgers.
Powerade,
Yeah.
something.
All the good stuff basically. Everything a young mother needs for her nutritional needs.
Yeah, to get her
That's
nutritional.
all
Yeah,
there.
it's all here.
Like, look, the food is so amazing. They're like, give me everything. I like some potato chips. They're big though. See, that's important.
Yeah, I mean, just to break down what just how bad everything is in this, it's be
Yeah.
overwhelming. Just because, I mean, just
Like the
starting with
best
the
part is that
bun.
tomato. That's it. Like that's all
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is.
the
That
tomato
tomato and some onion.
and the
That's it.
onion. Yeah, like
Even the pickle is like salted. It's
yeah,
just
oh
like
yeah, salted and
just to make
vinegared.
sure.
Then this nonsense. What's this about? I mean, that don't even look good on any level. Like, and for
Oh,
one,
that's pizza
it's
bagels.
it's
I think.
little pizza. It's like pizza
Yeah.
bagels or something. It's like, come on,
Damn,
man.
those people get screwed. But that's part of the system, right? They feed you that
Hmm.
crap, then you feel like shit,
Yeah,
and then you have to go to the clinic. That's how they make money. Like
yeah,
what
yeah,
breaks you? That this stuff breaks you down, and then you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
There's
get fixed.
no healing. Yeah, no healing is
Yeah,
gonna take place with any of that stuff.
yeah. That's just that's part of the business actually. Like I wonder if they. I mean, I'm sure the high level architects they know. Like that's what drives the flywheel, right? You eat the
Hmm.
crap, you get sick, then you go to the doctor, he prescribes medicine, then you go to the hospital, then you go to the surgery, and then you die basically, right? That's kind of like the funnel that they use to funnel people in. Yeah, and if the food is taken out of the equation, then the rest of that business fails, right? That's it. It's a fake business. It doesn't really have to
Right.
exist. I mean, I've studied all this stuff. I read books, the Confessions of like the Doctor, Heretic of Medicine, or something like that. I don't know
Hmm.
if you read that, where the guy basically lays the whole thing out. He laid out the whole business. He like basically snitched on all his like
Hmm.
medical mafia friends. I think he lost his license over that book, where he
What was the
basically laid
name?
out the
It
whole thing.
wasn't. What was that
Uh,
book?
Con- Confessions of like heretic or something, some
Mm,
medical heretic.
mm.
I can't remember the exact name, but it's like
I've heard of that. I never read
yeah,
it.
where he basically says what we're saying. I mean, not from an MDHS perspective, but he's saying that the food that people eat is what destroys them, and then
Mm,
they basically heal them by just stopping their symptoms. So they're not even really doing any healing. They're just kind of dragging them along so they don't die too quickly, so they can extract maximum money from them right before they die. That's kind of how this
right.
system works. They put you in like this little funnel. I mean, that's what they did to me. They try to put me in that funnel. Yep, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Confessions of a Medical Heretic. Yeah. So this guy lays it all
Hmm.
out, the whole like scam, the whole medical
Mhm.
scam. They just feed you with
Yeah.
crap, and then you just get sick from that crap. Then they say it has nothing to do with food; it has to do with microbes and bacterias and whatever these things. Here,
Yeah. Well, and
this
then
happened. Here,
you
take the
throw the
pills.
drugs in there, and then you get
Yeah,
the
the
side
drugs go
effects of the
in.
drugs. So we got to
Side
give you
effects of
more
the drugs.
drugs for your side
Yeah,
effects of the drug.
and then surgery, once the drugs don't mask the symptoms
Right.
well enough, and they're like, oh, you need surgery. Yeah, you have to cut this out. You have to do this. I mean, I went through that whole funnel myself until I realized that what they're doing, and I quit the funnel. I was like, screw you. I'm out.
Hmm.
I'm going to look for other things. And,
Right.
yeah, it's really evil. I mean, what these people do. It's straight up like preying on people, preying on their health through marketing because they control the mainstream media. They control all the MD system. They
Right.
control all the colleges. I mean, if you want to do some research, look into what Rockefellers did in like 1920s. There used to be three branches of medicine, allopathic, naturopathic, and some other one I can't remember. Basically, three branches, and all that was left is this, like allopathic, like this
Yeah,
drugs
well,
and
the
surgery. Exactly.
homeopathic.
Homeopathic. Yeah, sorry, I forgot the
Yeah.
third one. Yeah, but so they basically outlawed the two, and they left just this one, the MD, medical doctor system, with the drugs and surgery, because they can monetize that much better. And all the schools, all the medical schools teach that. And if you don't follow along, they take your license and you're screwed. That's the blackmail they run, the blackmail scam they run on doctors. Basically, doctors have such heavy debts that they need to work. And if you don't prescribe what you're told and don't cut out what you're told, they take your license and you're broke and you're blacklisted. You know, that's the business. I've studied it thoroughly. And I was like, yeah. So we need to make an alternative system to that, which is, the island, the clinics, all of that. Because if you try to do that like right now in this society, it's not gonna go well for you. You'll either disappear or they'll bankrupt you or they'll blacklist you. They have
Hmm.
they have ways to make sure you
Right.
never like perform real medicine. Yeah. It's crazy out there. Yeah, that's why I didn't go into this business because it's too control, you know? Too control. People are too brainwashed. The marketing works for them. I mean, it's tough to compete. you know. I'd
Yeah.
rather be teaching DeFi. That's better. Banks are easier targets than this medical like gangsters. Yeah. Mr. Rockefeller. Everybody's like, "Oh, Rockefeller, what a great man." Oh, yeah, what's so great about him? He was like the most evil bastard ever, you know. And a lot of this like people like they deify him. They're like, "Oh my God,
Hmm.
he made so much money." Oh yeah, he basically makes money by killing people and torturing them and cutting stuff out of them and giving them harmful drugs. Yeah, and monopolizing the whole medical industry so they could, all these drugs that they give you, all the pills, they're made out of oil, and guess
Yeah.
who controlled the
Yeah.
most oil? Rockefeller. So they basically found another way to sell oil by creating drugs from the oil and feeding them to you. Drugs that kill you and poison you, and stop the elimination. And like, oh, look, elimination stopped. You're healed. Off you go, buddy. Yeah. 5 years later,
Yeah.
you're on operating table, getting shit cut out of you,
Because all of
over the
that,
cancer.
yeah, they look at plants and biochemistry, certain herbs and things that had been passed down for generations and generations, and they're like, let's replicate this with synthetic means,
Yeah,
with
right.
synthetic chemicals and oil-based mess.
It was
And
genius marketing, though. Gotta give it
yeah,
to them.
and we'll patent it all, and we'll say that
Yeah,
this is the only way. Only fake synthetic
yeah,
is the only legitimate way that you're allowed to heal. That
yep.
you're allowed to, like, they don't give you permission to think that you can do this on your own.
Of
It's
course,
like
you
like
need the
we're not
doctor to be
allowed
smart.
to, like, with everything on here we have to say, well, this is not medical advice. This is
Yeah,
not,
not
I'm not
medical
a
advice.
licensed medical practitioner. None of this is medical advice. It's not dietetic advice. This is
Yeah,
just your friendly neighborhood Spira giving you
yeah.
some, you know.
I mean, it's sad that we have to like pretend here that we're not giving the real information, the real knowledge,
Right,
and
right.
they're not the freaking scammers that basically extract money by lying to people. Oh, sorry, when I was supposed to say that. Oh, I'm sorry, not like screw them.
Yeah,
They're killing people, and we're supposed to be quiet about it. Man, I don't think so. Whatever. That's why I want to create that island so we can do whatever the hell we want to do, and like give real healing to the world and real
yeah,
technology to the world for free, to screw up their whole little game of money and control and media and whatnot. Yeah, but I get it. I mean, people are so like, enslaved by this whole system, right? They have no time to really research and then think about things and find it out. Because another strategy they use is there's just so much information, you just get overloaded. That was my problem. Like I was trying to find the real like stuff, and there was just so much information out there, like information
yeah,
overload. You don't know what's true, what's not. See, like they're like, here's 30 ways to heal yourself, and out of those 30 ways, like one is the right one. Go ahead, figure out which one that is. Take 10 years. And while you're doing that, you're sick like a dog, which was my situation. So I'm not feeling well. I'm trying to find like how to heal myself. And there's all this crap, piles of garbage that's useless. I had to sift through all of it until I found MDHS. And that worked. And I'm like, okay, now I know. And I'm going to go all the way to that, like, path. And bam, that works out. Then and now that you're like off the survival path, now you can think about how to make money, how to create, autonomous, like whatever, source of income, how to make the island, how to do this, right? Now you have the time and the health to do all these things. And a lot of people, they're trapped, man. They got kids, they got 3 jobs, you know, what are they gonna do? They have no time to research, right? And who are you gonna trust? There's also like all this, oh, this guy, it's disinformation. It's fake news. It's this guy is a scammer, you know? Like I tried to tell people about MDHS, all they see is like, oh, that's a scam. That doesn't work. That's some cold crap. It's whatever. My doctor says it's all bullshit. You need
Yeah,
vitamins and
yeah, yeah.
minerals and
Yeah,
fats and
my doctor
carbs and
says.
this. Yeah, look at
Right,
your doctor. He's freaking sick himself. This
right.
guy has like, so what? He has a stupid diploma. He's gonna say that shit because if he doesn't, they'll strip him of the license and he's gonna be broke and he needs to feed his family. That guy is captured. In that stupid medical school, they give you a book and they tell you if the guy says this, give him this pill. That's it. That's all of it. That's really like the whole thing. Like they could just give him the book and just tell him to say that instead of making him spend 7 years digesting useless knowledge just so they can rack up the debt so they can have him. So they got him, with that blackmail. I think that's why they do it. Because in reality, they could probably put him out in like a week, this doctor, Be like, here's your diploma, put it on your wall, here's a book, tell him to take this pill. All right, you can go now. That would be funny. Yeah, and imagine those poor doctors, man. They spent all these years learning all this stuff, putting in all this time, and it turns out it was all a scam. Like everything they learned was just fake, and all
Well,
those
that's
hundreds of
why it's
thousands of dollars
hard
they
for them
paid
to,
was
yeah, the
useless.
ones that really do start learning, or they
Yeah,
plug
like that
in,
Harrison guy,
yeah, like him, or
like him.
that
Yeah,
some of them, if they want to actually practice real healing, they have to create a private membership association, and people join
yeah.
that, and then they can actually make some healing recommendations to them. And
Wow.
it's like I
A lot
said,
of
this
those
is,
doctors
yeah.
disappear, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, then there's that. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
there's
that.
that. Lots
And
of
so,
like naturopathic doctors all of a sudden disappear or they just commit suicide,
right,
under very suspicious circumstances. Like
right.
when the guy was tied to a tree and shot twice in the head, and then like, yeah, he committed
He
suicide.
committed suicide.
Yeah, can
Yeah,
you please
it's
explain to me how that's physically possible to tie yourself to a tree and shoot yourself from like 10 meters away? Hmm. Sure, whatever you say. Yeah, that's why I'm not naive, and I understand we need to create our own space first with proper security before we start, bringing all this knowledge into the world and applying it to the world. Because this is a very profitable business, this medical scam, and there are people who will do anything to keep that business and scam going. Yeah, and trust me, they're not thinking about your health or about Hippocratic oath, do no harm. Yeah, that ship has sailed a long time ago. Uh, yeah. Anyway, see, that's why physiological freedom and financial freedom
and
are
financial
equally
freedom.
and financial freedom are equally important, so that you can deal with your health, to the full extent. Yeah, gotta have both. As they be like, oh, I practice MTHL, I don't need anything else. I beg to differ. Like you
Right, right.
do need to take care of the finance part in order to have a happy and fulfilled life that you deserve, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
the message for today.
that's that's the right. That's the message for
The
today.
moral of the podcast.
Right. So so I want to one more time invite everybody to sign up for the free training where we get way deeper into the actual how you do it. Today we were just sort of talking about the what a little bit and giving you a
Yeah.
little taste, but on Tuesday you'll learn actually how to do it if you want to just do it and experiment with it yourself and see if it is what we say it is and check it out. So
Yeah.
definitely sign up. The links are down below and in the chats and all that good stuff. But yeah, click that link, sign up, and there's no plan to have replays. So just sign up and be there 1:00 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. And I want to thank Vadim for coming on here. Everybody give the round of
Thank you for having me.
applause. And yeah, man, it's
It was
always
fun.
a good time. We get on here and chop it up. And so I think that when people watch this, this back, they're gonna definitely see the value and like this. We have having serious discussions about the future and with real vision of the direction of humanity and how we're gonna how we're gonna figure this thing out and we're gonna protect ourselves and we're gonna start rebuilding instead of just like we said, instead of complaining about Biden and Trump and them and Bush and instead of like sitting here complaining about everything and Medicaid and the border. And it's like instead of that, we're just gonna start having hundreds of babies on our own island, and we will repopulate. If everybody else doesn't make it, it's okay. We got this. We will repopulate the planet.
Don't worry, we got it
just fine. Don't worry.
We'll take care of it. Just
don't worry.
We
got it. We got that part. So go. You can play in the sandbox and the medical circus and be deluded by how advanced you think all their stuff is. It's like, yeah, if you're like we always say, if where you're talking about trauma, which of course, if you're in the conditions that we're talking about, having a baby is traumatic, is a medical emergency. But if you're not falling into that category, but you're in some kind of emergency situation, until we have our emergency services up and running, go to the, they do that very well. They do the emergency and it's still not incredibly impressive. Like we'll do way better once we have our resources and things, but because it's fairly basic, it's all right. Here,
it's primitive. Yeah. It's not,
let's get some saline drip and treat you, put some chemicals in you if you need it, and we'll stitch you up or whatever, just the diagnostic process of whatever's going on, and you get people with bullets in them and stuff, and you got so but the whole reason that a huge percentage, like 90% of the people in the emergency room are in there because of pus and mucus eating. Either directly or indirectly. You ain't gonna have a bunch of people getting hit with drive-bys in a society of no pus and mucus eating. That's not gonna happen. That's not something that will exist. So we're not gonna have to take an innocent bystander, a 5-year-old girl that got hit in the chest with a stray bullet from a drive-by shooting, and you take them to the emergency room, and then you got to do the surgery to get the bullet out. That ain't gonna happen. That's pus and mucus world stuff. That don't happen outside of that context. And so, we will bring this to the, we will bring something of great value to this world, which is that situation. So like I said, even if no one else makes it, if everybody wants to go the way of the herd and go on, follow them. I mean, because that's when I lost so much respect for humanity in 2020, 2021. These past, I lost for the hope. It's like I had to the naivete that I still had of this dream of a humanity and whatever I had. y'all busted my bubble. something nasty in 2020 and 2021. Like I was let down. I couldn't have been more let down by humans in that little period of time. I lost any real feeling or affection that I had for this idea of trying to fix the existing systems or whatever. It's like, nope, that ain't gonna happen. I learned my lesson. And so now that thing, if that whole thing dies off, it's cool. We got this. We will repopulate and take care of things just fine. And so
start from scratch. Like this branch failed. We're gonna just get away from that and start our own branch.
Start
that way.
Right.
And we'll see who the superior humans are. In 100 years, us or them.
Yeah, we will.
I got an inkling what that's gonna be.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Survival of the fittest, right? Like Darwin way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
survival of the.
whoever is the
Yeah,
fittest.
we're not gonna let the idiocracy, like, that'll develop over there.
Ew.
So
Yeah.
that's over there.
That future is not happening.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Yeah,
No.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
gonna be
we're
evolving generations, not degenerating,
yeah,
offspring. Like, nah,
yeah.
not happening.
Yep.
Like, oh my god, he has IQ of 70. He's super smart, like in that movie, remember?
Right, right.
Yeah, he
The
got
smartest
electrolytes
person
in
ever.
it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
right.
haven't seen that movie, Idiocracy, check it out. That movie
Yeah,
is
that's a good one.
awesome. Yeah, like you'll see where America is going if things don't change. That's the
Yeah,
future of
I
this
watch
country and the world.
watch Idiocracy and then watch Wally,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah, that
that's a
that
good
about
one.
covers it.
Yeah, yeah, they give you the
That about covers it. Yeah.
yeah, they
I
give
mean, they're all
you
pushing this whole techno like cyborg future where we're all gonna be linked up to AI through a Neuralink chip in the head. Like, nah, I'm good. And if I do make a chip like that, it's gonna be my chip that I'll manufacture and I'll put into my brain and hook it into my systems, not yours anyway. You know, like if that is happening, which probably is not, but we'll see. We'll experiment. Yeah, but I know what they want to do, and there's nothing good. Yeah, that's Wally.
yeah 2008. I mean, and this reality is
Yeah.
pretty darn close to for people that have resources
Yeah.
and money. They rolling around in their chairs and
Building the little bunkers
screens
over
in
there.
front of them. If they drop their phone, they're like, "Oh, can't get it," and freaking out if they don't, go.
Yeah.
I've been doing this thing of just turning my phone off for a couple days at a time. It's just
Yeah.
like,
This phone thing is annoying, man. Like I can't do that because I need to support, my students. So I can't really
yeah.
do that quite yet, but it would be
Well,
nice.
I'll turn it off, but I'll still access messengers here
Oh,
online,
okay.
like whatever I need to. So if it's like the Signal or WhatsApp or whatever, I'll just do that with the
Oh, okay,
desktop
yeah.
on in the times when I do that, because I just
Like
been
once a day or something like that, just to
yeah. It's like I
check
can
for
kind of do
emergency messages.
the essential business communication can be done from the
Yeah.
computer. Like, I don't need my phone for that. The phone is it's starting to get real, like, where I really notice the distraction of it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, nah, we gotta, I start seeing
I,
that type of thing, and like let little phone addictions, and I'm like, nah, we
yeah.
cut that off. And if that
Yeah.
means I just have to,
I made it
I
black and white. That was my little hack.
yeah, you're
Most
the
people wouldn't
thing,
do it.
right? The black and white,
Yeah, my phone is
you
just
know,
black and white all the time, man. So that way, all the fancy pictures don't like addict me. And I
yeah.
removed Instagram, Facebook from my
Because
phone.
I've never liked, I've always hated text messaging. I just never got into it. I
Yeah,
only use it for the most bare minimum, like phone text messaging. To me, it's not the same thing as like a Signal or something where you could
yeah,
actually type stuff on if
yeah. I
you're
don't
at a
like
desktop or
texting.
a laptop. And yeah, I hate I just never got into that. And some people just like, that's how they live, is they're texting. And
Yeah.
I just
It's
don't
like,
like that
why is he
idea of
calling me? Just
like
text
being
me.
on, yeah, being on call for like 24 hours a day, where someone
Yeah,
texts you and you're expected to hit it. I'm like, nah, man, because what I liked about the 80s was somebody gave you a phone call, you didn't expect to hear from them for a couple days,
yeah,
because they get home, if they're home too late, and they get your message from on a little recorded tape,
yeah. Or if
message
you have a
recorder.
beeper, right? Like one of those
Yeah,
beepers.
the beeper,
You
it'd
get
just be
beep, you're
like,
like, I might call you back, might not.
yeah, I don't know, I hit you back tomorrow, because
Yeah, tomorrow.
and then if you're
I
busy
ain't got a
all
quota
day
with you.
tomorrow, it's like, well, I'm busy all day tomorrow, so you get
Yeah,
them the next day, or you get to them on the weekend or something. There wasn't this expectation
yeah. I remember
of
those days.
immediately, yeah, and so I actually call it my night, like my 1992 type of fast, where I just like turn the phone off,
Yeah.
and I'll take messages and
Cell
I
phone
do that stuff.
detox,
But as
right?
far as, yeah, the actual just being connected to that thing is like, yeah, nah, I've been just really noticing the difference in how I feel just when I turn it off, and even if it's just on in another room, and I never hear it, because I always have it on 100% silent, so it doesn't buzz, it doesn't make any noise
Yeah.
ever. But still, like,
It's pinging
it's
every.
on and it's over there, and then you look at it, and then here's message, and it's like the messages are no, they used to be maybe important, but now, like I said, I've kind of filtered any kind of important messages are going to be done elsewhere as opposed, not on the phone, because that's what I tell people, like, don't message me anything important on the phone. If you're in Signal or you're in some place like that where we
Yeah.
have a relationship, then you know then we will do our communication. But
Yeah, it's a whole new world out there, man. Information overload, right? So sometimes I want to go up in the mountains and just, turn off all my phones and just meditate and fast. Like, but fortunately,
yeah, yeah, no, and
can't do that. Can't do that
that
quite yet.
yeah, but you
That's coming.
find ways. One of the things I've been able to do is to find ways to kind of hybridize, where you can do kind of do both, where you're not
Yeah, yeah.
100% disconnected, but you are, you're only connected as much as you need to be.
Like limited availability.
Yeah, where
You're
you just
like,
kind of
I'm
you got to
online, but not
control.
really.
You got to learn how to control the notifications, because I know some people, they don't even know that you can turn notifications off on a phone. They'll just have everything is giving them notifications just all day. Bing, 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 bing,
Yeah,
bing, bing,
I
bing,
hate
bing.
talking to somebody when they have the freaking notifications going off. Like, I'm like, guy, can't you mute it? Like, this
Right,
thing is
right,
annoying. It's annoying me. It's like, what do you mean? I didn't even notice it. It's just pinging in the background.
right.
Somebody's like
Yeah,
messaging them like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guy. Like, turn
yeah.
that off.
They're so acclimatized to it, and that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Take the stimulant away. Take the phone
yeah,
away. I'm talking that too.
yeah.
Take
Like dopamine
take
hits.
your coffee away, your weed away, your
Instagram,
whatever
Facebook
candy
away.
you eat. Like, I'm taking all that away, turning your phone off for several days, getting off the internet, like all of that. Let's see how you feel. Like,
Yeah,
let's really see where you are, because all that stimulation, and we're all addicted on different levels to it, and so it's important to fast from it. Because I'm not saying that it's not like you use some mental, like, okay, I'm no longer going to be addicted. It's like you have to you you had to do fasting. Like, you had to fast
yeah,
from it and just go periods of time. Like, you check in with your humanity. That's what camping is about. The benefit of, if you go camping, you go out into the wilderness, and it's a
yeah. Whole
meant to
service.
unplug. And yeah, and so but we're so disconnected from our humanity, and I'm just these children now that are coming up, and that's why I'm saying, I'm like, yeah, we just we're gonna have to do what we need to do, because these children are being born, and if they make it through the hospital birthing process, as soon as they can really function, they're handed a
Yeah,
screen
they hit with the
to
screen.
entertain them,
Boom.
with
Yeah,
all the worst kind of programming that you would ever want. It's immediately right in the face of this little impressionable being. And so we're in, I mean, that sector of society is in trouble. Like, that thing is,
yeah, big time.
like 20 years, I don't know how many, 10 years. I mean, we're going to see some real tragic, because we're already talking about it, with the
Yeah.
suicide rates up, and the depression rates, and you were mentioning earlier all the ADHDs or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like,
They're just spiking across the board. And they're giving those kids drugs. They're giving them like Adderall, Ritalin. Basically, if the kid can't sit still for 8 hours, they give him drugs. Like
right,
the kid is fine. Like he just doesn't want to sit for 8 hours, in freaking on the desk, right? Like behind the desk. You don't have to drug him. And then they're like, "Oh my God, what's happening? Why are all these school shootings?" Well, that's what happens when you give drugs to kids. They become depressed, and then it's not the guns issue; it's a psychological issue. It's a drug issue that they're doing. Those kids are
right.
popping those Adderalls like Tic Tacs. That's basically amphetamines. That's what that is. It's speed, like legalized speed. What do you think that does? Yeah, brave new world. definitely true.
One of my favorite. This is a good cover.
Yeah,
This is right appropriate what we talking about here, because
yeah.
that's
That's
what
what they want.
different parts of the world are, live under different books. And so the Western world is very much Brave New World, living under that. Maybe over there and where you're from, and then further over east, we get a little bit more into the 1984 kind of territory. And and so, but you could pretty much find a book that fits wherever, any of these books that fit for where you're at. And over here we got the Brave New World. Not as much, the 1984 is a fear-based coercion. We're gonna, the Brave New World is the soma, give you the drugs. We grow the babies, and we grow the
Designer
humans,
babies.
the designer babies. People live their lives basically drug addicts, addicted to drugs. They
Like
do.
cased. You're in a certain case based on your DNA.
Yeah, you're
So
in
they have like
your
worker
caste.
like caste. They have like
Yeah,
engineer caste.
yeah.
They have like supervisor
You're
caste.
programmed to love your lot in life, your caste
Yeah, you're loving it.
system, and then as soon as you get too old, then you end up basically euthanized. They kind of take you out,
Yep.
and then no funerals. No one's gonna grieve for you. It's just
That's their
you're
dream.
gone, and next, and so that's like the United States, and parts of Europe. Like that's how that kind of functions and operates. And then you start looking at places, you get your North Korea kind of stuff. Of obviously that's some 1984 type of stuff.
For sure.
And what was happening with China, like that was all kinds of 1984. What we just saw.
Yeah. It's still happening.
I mean, still happening. I mean, when that was
worse.
more of what was censored. You had people screaming and crying. They weren't allowed to leave their apartment, and they're screaming and crying into the abyss. And you just hear all these people just screaming, and
a lot of them were jumping out of windows,
and people jumping out and suicide and stuff. So yeah, that's 1984 stuff. That's
they basically welded them shut in their buildings. So with no water, no food, nothing. So it's like, sorry, we got this infection spreading and it's all dangerous. You got to stay in your home, and then we're going to just weld you shut. And that's it. And all you can do is scream into a window, like, damn, I can't believe those people allowed, their government to do this to them. Like, seriously. So conditioned. Yeah, but they've been kind of conditioned over generations.
Well, but that's the whole night, because that's what you say when you read, like, 1984 really gives you that layout of how that happens over a long period of time, and with the proper kind of coercion and fear-based, because they really rely on that the fear-based coercion of and reprogramming, and the torture and the slaughter and the genocides, and all these things have to happen in order to put an entire people in a place where they're apathetic. They're either at a depression level or an apathetic level. If you have people that are at an anger level, that's a higher state. That's a higher frequency. Anger is higher than depression and apathy. And so you have to subjugate the people emotionally, break their will. This was the what they did for 400 years, and slavery in the North America, Central South America, that break the will of the person to the point where there is no way out. There's literally nothing that you can do except serve us and do what we tell you to do. And people are beat into submission. I think in North Korea, they still do generational, where if you break a rule or a law or something, you might not just be killed, but your family could be incarcerated for several generations. I mean,
That's what they did in China, though. They killed
Yeah,
off basically the most like intelligent members of their society, like those communist revolution, Mao Zedong. That's what they did. The first people they killed were the teachers, doctors, engineers, all of them.
right.
Like they all got slaughtered, and the people that were left were just less intelligent. And then those people bred and produced a less intelligent, more subservient, like population. And that's what we're seeing right now, where they're basically just good little slaves to their society. They follow what they're told. If they don't do like the right things, their social rating gets like lowered, and they can't travel. They can't get on trains. They can't buy food. Yeah, it's legit. That's what's happening over there, and that's what they want to bring here. You know,
Yeah,
like all this talk about
yeah. They
social
keep
ratings
trying. They really
and
want to.
carbon
Yeah,
things. Like screw you. We're Americans. We
yeah,
don't play that shit. We have
yeah.
guns. Okay. Screw you and your social rating. You eat the bugs, and live in pods. I'm gonna be eating durians and living on my island. you know, yeah. No, thank you. Your social rating score. All these people like freaking Klaus Schwab, this proto-Nazi looking whatever evil villain guy. that's appointed himself the ruler of the world apparently. I don't know why. Nobody voted for his ass. Like he keeps saying, you will all eat the bugs and you will live in pods. You will own nothing and be happy. Ho ho ho. Yeah. No thanks, Klaus. I think I'm gonna, I'm good with all that. These people, man.
The
They're
problem
they're
over here
delusional.
is,
Yeah, that's the
if
problem.
the Kentucky Fried
Like
reality
my family.
continues, you get an entire, the entire race goes in that type of direction.
Yeah.
Physiologically,
Look at
mentally.
these
So
degenerates, man.
it's a lot.
That's
It's
idiocracy in
easier
action
to
right there.
dominate people that are, let's say less intellectually acute.
Yeah.
And,
You mean dumb.
you
A less
know,
PG term for that. Idiot.
you
Like, look at
know,
these people.
it's like,
Yeah, their IQ is probably like the same as my shoe size, basically. Like, I mean, it's sad.
and this is
They're
all, yeah,
victims of
it's
pus and
sad because
mucus.
but this is
You
what
know,
pus and mucus poisoning looks like to the nth, to the extreme version, to see where this all could go. Like,
yeah,
people don't think that, like, oh, like, well, that's just them. It's like, no, this whole thing could go in that direction if you let it. And the way you let
yeah,
it is you continue to wait in lines at your nearest Kentucky Fried Chicken, and you're, going and getting Impossible Burger. I mean, that you ain't off the hook with your
yeah.
vegan processed stuff and all these chemicals, and there's all this mess.
Another trap to get those
Yeah, no, yeah,
health
another
conscious ones.
trap.
It's like, oh, he's too health conscious to eat this crap. Oh, let's give him another crap that's just as bad, but it looks like plant based. Just give him that. There you go. He fell for it. Yeah, he bought it. Nice.
Right.
Like, still got him. Still got him. Yeah, nobody escapes the trap. You can just be a vegan instead. There you go. Here's another trap for you. Just do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Come on.
they got all
Be
the
healthy.
traps.
You like the animals? Sure, we'll give you the vegan crap. There you go. Yeah, which is ironically worse for you than meat. Like, like if you had to compare eating that crap or that crap, like obviously it's better to eat none of it. Like neither one, please.
Right.
Yeah, but that's society. They want to trap you and extract money from you, from your sickness, from your pain. They want to monetize your pain. That's what that is, And they, in order to fund their lifestyle or whatever the hell it is they
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
do.
their
There's
power and
multiple theories
domination,
of that,
and
but
yeah,
whatever the goal is, that's what they're doing. That's a fact.
right.
That is a fact. I don't know what they do because I'm not in the Illuminati society. They don't tell me what they're doing. I don't have a bunker ready to go like all these rich people are building now. I don't know why,
Right.
but it should be interesting. There's no bunker deep enough to hide from us, guy. So I don't know why you're building that. Like when the time comes, we'll get you
Yeah,
out of that bunker real quick.
yeah, right.
Smoke you out in Bush's favorite phrase. Smoke him
Yeah,
out.
we'll
Smoke him
smoke
out.
them out. Right.
Yeah, we'll smoke him out. Don't worry, guys. We'll smoke you out. Yeah. Look at them watching. I bet they're watching this podcast. I'm like, man, those bastards, they're onto us. Even the bunker's not
Right.
gonna help. Shoot. All right, scrap the bunker. Let's join their island. No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry.
No. Yeah, sorry about that. No. Rejected.
Yeah, right.
Rejected.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Good discussion. And I thank
Touched on everything.
everybody who tuned in. And again, one last time, be sure to join us on Tuesday, the January 30th at 1 p.m. We will be doing free training on the explosive power of decentralized finance. You're going to get this is the only way that you can get this information and get it from a fellow Mucus diet healing system practitioner that understands this frame of reference and this consciousness, and as we just talked about today, the importance of financial freedom, particularly for us, the practitioners in Mucus diet healing system. And so hope to see you all there on Tuesday. And any final words, and if you give any of your, this was the time to share your social media, which I know you love, and all your properties.
Yeah, I mean, I had one channel closed
I know
down,
you're
but I got
working
another
on it.
YouTube channel. I'm
Yeah.
working on it, so I'm planning to put out a lot of free educational videos on that channel. That's coming once I finish building out this product, this Next Level DeFi thing, which I'm almost done. I'm on the last like 7 tasks, So yeah, I mean, I'm sure Professor will put a link in the video description to my YouTube channel. I don't have many subscribers, but there's a lot of good content coming your way. That's gonna be the only channel free where I'm gonna put out for good free content. I guess you gotta play the YouTube game. Everybody told me, come on, Vadim, you got the content, you got the skills, get out there, make the videos. So yes, I listen. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna start doing that. So yeah,
Right.
that's where you can find me. And obviously I'll see you all guys at the free workshop on Tuesday. I'll put a lot of work into that. I updated it. It's all nice and new for this 2024. Yeah, put quite a bit of effort into that one. Yeah, so I'm sure you'll like it.
All right. Well, again, I thank Vadim for being here. Thank everybody for tuning in, and tune back in next week. Have another great show for you with Sarah and Emmanuel coming at you. It's going to be wonderful. So until then, my beautiful brothers and sisters, peace, love, and breath. We are mucus-free. 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 We are mucus-free.